your fingers and hope that Samsonov finds it. And then I think when Woll's healthy, then you have a serious decision. And if Samsonov hasn't gotten any traction at that point, you got to think that he's the one going on waivers and it's not Martin Jones.
So we pretty much understood from go this season that the Maple Leafs are going to have to try to find a defenseman at some point. And I think, when Klingberg went out and Liljegren was out, the guys that prevented a knee-jerk reaction were the emergences of Benoit and Lagesson. Like, they were able to stop Treliving from doing anything panicky. Can the reverse be true here with the goaltending situation? Does that maybe have to force them from doing a bigger move involving the move that we've always expected them to do, which was bring in a defenseman because they need a goaltender so bad? Like, are they in a position where they can make multiple moves over the course of the season ahead of the deadline, or does it feel like it might have to happen in one fell swoop? And for that reason, there might be some urgency suddenly on the part of Brad Treliving to get something done.
I guess the only reason there isn't urgency is they've managed to keep in the race, keep getting points. They're not the Edmonton Oilers, right? They're not clinging to a wild card spot or feeling like their season might slip away. Somehow they've managed to keep their head above water. So I think he's going to try to be patient. But I think with Klingberg going on LTIR, I think there's enough room to make more than one move. So is that two defensemen? Is that a forward and a defenseman? And now the way things are going, you do have to wonder if that's a goalie and a defenseman. It's just finding a goalie is going to be tough because when you step back and look league wide, the Leafs aren't the only ones feeling like they're not getting enough saves amongst the teams with grand aspirations. Like the Carolina Hurricanes are suddenly looking for a goalie. The Detroit Red Wings all have Michael Hutchison up, and they started with 3 goalies because their goalies are dropping. So it's slim pickings. And I wonder, I don't know if they're what they're going to do, but I wonder about Barry Trotz in Nashville. Like, they're still in the mix. They lost a brutal game in the last 13 seconds today.
Oh, my God, it's horrible.
But this is a team who eventually is going to have to make a decision on UC Saros. And if they were to entertain trading him, what a winter to do it, because so many teams need goaltending. And I just think, Barry Trotz has already made some bold moves in his time as GM of the Preds. That I wonder if it's crossed his mind. Like, the market might be really rich right now if we want to make a big move and take on some bad money and trade this guy for a haul. So he's the one guy I wonder about. Otherwise, I think you're just, kicking off another team's, second or third goalie, and just it's like a patchwork solution. You're not gonna find a guy that's gonna win you around.
I mean, Saros is fascinating. You could still have a goaltending under $6 million for this year and next year if you're able to package Samsonov in a deal that would obviously cost you a lot to get a guy like UC Saros. And then Joseph Woll, like, it wouldn't be that big gamble on a young guy making sub $1 million in the first year I mean, that's a fascinating one to ponder. And hey, they got some defensemen they may be able to throw in, and you could get everything done in one fell swoop.
But then you're talking a first and Minton or a first and count. Like, that's the kind of price you're talking, right? Mm-hmm. So how much do you believe in this group right now that you want to spend your real valuable assets? Because they don't have a second rounder, they got a first rounder, and they got two prospects that other teams actually want. The other teams, they're not interested in anything but Minton or count if you're talking about a significant trade of that magnitude.
We're chatting with Luke Fox of Sportsnet, of course, ahead of Leafs and Blue Jackets, one of many of these opponent game matchups in the next couple days. We are sick of the Columbus Blue Jackets, but we still got another one. So Auston Matthews and Mitch Marner are back on a line together. A couple different switches here, but that one's the big one. Matthews and Marner, and then John Tavares and William Nylander back together. Today, Sheldon Keefe said the biggest thing is I would say that I don't know if Willie has been a huge contributor to Matthews' goals. I wonder if this is okay. Let's try something new. We got steamrolled on Thursday. Let me find something to spice these guys up. Or has William Nylander faded a little bit because Mitch Marner and Auston Matthews is on a hot streak, 6-game goal streak, 12 in the last 8 games. But where's Willie in all this?
Yeah, I don't know if he's faded. I mean, he's faded from where he was when he was red hot in Stockholm, right? Like that was kind of the peak of his early season. But he's on a 10-game point streak. Mm-hmm. Like let's not knock him too much. But he's right. Like the last few goals Austin scored was that sick spinorama from the corner. Nylander had nothing to do with that one. And the previous game, his goals were set up by McCabe and Riley. Some nice plays by defensemen. The other thing is he thought when they're on the road, teams really key in on the Matthews line. So this might be a chance to free Nylander up and give the opposition, in this case, Columbus, some fits because, Nylander can work his magic on the second line. And he did point out that over the course of this season, the most consistent line he's had is Bertuzzi, Tavares, and Nylander. So it is also easy to make an adjustment like that to get your team's attention when you've lost 2 in a row. It's hard to make changes when you keep winning, even if you're seeing things aren't clicking right. But then you get a couple losses, and then it's much easier for the coach to say, okay, I'm going to mix it up, go back to this look, see if that can't get, the guys in my own room's attention, and maybe give the opponent something different to look at, because Columbus didn't see that look when they were in Toronto last week.
No change expected to the third line, but Sheldon Keefe wasn't overly enthused about where it's been of late. He said not necessarily happy with where it's trending, was the exact quote. Do you see it trending in a way where it's like, hey, yeah, this is the problem. We got to make a change here. This is going to have to be supplemented in some way? Or is there belief from you that, Robertson, Domi, Yarncroc can still work?
I can work in spurts. It's okay. Domi was a -4. In that last game. He had a nice power play goal, bar down, like good on him. But he was a -4 in that Buffalo game. So I understand where Sheldon's coming from in terms of, I think he's worried about defensively where that unit's at, which is why he said it's been on his mind to break them up. I'm a big Nick Robertson fan. I love the effort he puts into every game. But when they play big, strong teams, and I'm sure they're going to face them in the playoffs, I worry about him a little bit, just his size. I don't worry about his effort one bit, but sometimes he seems outmatched physically, and that concerns me if he's going to be your third liner come playoff time. So I think probably Sheldon's seeing similar things. But yeah, they're sticking with it for now, and maybe by making that little gentle call out in his scrum today, it maybe gets their attention a little bit too.
Luke, we appreciate your time. Enjoy the holiday break, and we will definitely chat with you down the road. Thanks so much.
Okay, Ailish, I just want to say you showed a lot of courage this month, and I just want to applaud you for that. And, I hope you guys both get some time off and have a nice break. Thanks,
Luke. I really appreciate it. Chat soon. Thanks so much.
Okay.
Luke
Bye.
Fox of Sportsnet ahead of our game tonight with the Columbus Blue Jackets and the Maple Leafs. We do have those audio clips. Did you want to hear how Keefe talked about the third line, or you just don't care?
I just don't care. Tone's important. Let's hear it. Why not?
Okay, we got Keefe on Domi in the third line because that's the one that did stay together, but they did change the first 2 lines. So here's Keefe earlier today at pregame skate.
Yeah, the line itself, I think I would say has been okay for us. Max himself, I think he's doing what he does. He's when he gets a chance to make a play, he's made a play, scored a big goal for us on the power play the other night. Obviously had a big night against Pittsburgh when we needed him to step up in Matthews' absence. But the line itself is, I had talked about it over, the last day or so about making some changes there as well and kind of shaking things up. Ultimately, just decided to go back with Nylander with Tavares as my main change. But, that's the line itself, especially as we move on to the road here again tonight. It's on my mind a bit, but I think as I look because I zoom out and look at it as a whole, I think the line has been productive for us, but I'm not necessarily happy with where it's trending.
So not happy with where it's trending, but giving it another go tonight, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So I like the call-out idea, and maybe that is something, but the top two lines getting switched up is pretty significant.
And it is. And I guess we've been focusing on the negative with the switch, right? Like, Nylander's kind of, it hasn't been Nylander of last month. And Auston Matthews' brilliance has been kind of achieved in a vacuum. It should be, we should remind everyone that, Nylander, Tavares, Bertuzzi, that trio has put up, when together, the best results the Maple Leafs have had all season. The best conditions the Maple Leafs have formed all year long have been with Bertuzzi, Tavares, and Nylander on the ice. Now, a lot of that happened in Sweden, where Nylander was just a rock star and they were dominant, and that was great. But it's not like this is something, they're going back to something that didn't work. They're going back to something that was immensely profitable. And going back to that allows Mitch Marner and Auston Matthews to play together. I mean, this isn't like a disaster nuclear option. This is maybe the best lineup the Maple Leafs can put out there.
We'll give you the full lineup on the other side of the break, and we'll continue teeing up tonight's game between the Blue Jackets and the Maple Leafs.
You're sick of them, eh?
Oh, last time they played was 9 days ago. They play again in 6 games. It's just a weird scheduling quirk.
It is.
I think tonight's Adam Fantilli's night, though.
Yeah, you think so?
Yeah, the guy, local kid.
I bet anytime goal last week, it didn't work.
Well, we'll have some bets on the other side. We'll be back for Puck Drop on Molson Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Truck.ca. So when you gotta move, all moving day. Think 2-minute truck.ca. Cause all of us movers are not the same. So that's our company name, 2-minute truck.ca. We're lots of men with lots of trucks, so give us a call today.
Move up to Heathwood. Hi, I'm Hugh Heron. Experience true luxury at Williamsburg Moore at heathwood.com.
There are many peculiar words in the English language. Words like solivigant, peregrinate, nemophilus, peripatetic, and conviviality. Yet, there is no word for getting the most out of winter in your Subaru, thanks to symmetrical full-time all-wheel drive and X-Mode. Until now. We call it unhibernate. As in, while your neighbors stay home, you'll be unhibernating all winter in your Subaru. So peregrinate to your local Subaru dealer today, and welcome to uncommon winter confidence.
Hi, it's Catherine from Great Canadian Meat. Shopping stress? I get it. Dad wants
a motorcycle.
And Mom wants
a 4x4, please.
But if you get them what they want, it won't be a surprise. So get them the next best thing. Great Canadian Meat.
Did you get my text? I want a trip to the Bahamas.
As if. Our sweet heat beef jerky is hotter than any beach in the Bahamas. And the guy she hopes to meet there. Keep it real. Get them Great Canadian Meat from our store in Whitby or greatcanadianmeat.com.
Hey, Conan here. Very excited for you all to hear the latest episode of Conan O'Brien Needs a Friend.
Do you guys have a chance to come over and see the Oval?
I'd love to see the Oval.
Come on, let's go do it.
All right, let's do it. In this episode, I sit down with President Joe Biden from the White House. If you stay connected to these things, it embarrassed you when you were a kid, not being a good athlete, having weird hair.
I wish I had your hair. I'd trade right now if you want.
You want this hair? I will mail you this wig tomorrow. You can hear my full conversation with President Joe Biden. Just search Conan on the Sirius XM app.
Under review.
And if someone says, well, he's good in the room, you know what? They don't have a good in the room stat in the standings. I've yet to find that category. It's one of the most overplayed things. They better be good in the room. That's the least you better bring when you join a National Hockey League team.
Under review
with Mick Kerr.
11 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio,
Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app.
Hey Toronto, I'm David Morsuti, host of the daily Toronto Maple Leafs podcast, Locked On Leafs, part of the Locked On Podcast Network on the Sirius XM app. Every weekday, we bring you the latest Leafs news and analysis, break down all the action, including this game you're listening to right now, and preview the next one. We're giving you everything a Leafs fan could want, all in a daily 30-minute podcast. Download Locked On Leafs right now on the Sirius XM app, available with all trials and popular plans, or where you get your podcasts. Search Locked On Leafs.
If you're a soccer fan, you know that this music means one thing. The Champions League is on Sirius XM FC.
Hat-trick for Erling Haaland. Kane scores.
The top teams from around Europe are battling for club soccer's holy grail.
Real Madrid do what they do best. What a start for Inter.
Hear all the top Champions League matches all tournament long on Sirius XM FC 157 and streaming on the Sirius XM app.
Join me, Gord Stellick, and Scott Laughlin as we recap the night that was on NHL Morning Skate, weekday mornings at 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91.
The biggest names in the game.
Trying to get behind Ristolainen. Walks in. Put it between his legs. Shoots it. Score.
NHL play-by-play on Sirius XM.
Hi, this is Ray Hudson, and for all the biggest matches from club soccer's holy grail, the UEFA Champions League, tune in to Sirius XM FC 157.
The best hockey lives here.
Burns gets it back. Stick handles to the backhand. Moves in front. Score!
NHL play-by-play on Sirius XM.
Hockey lives here.
Suzuki sweeps it. There's a chance. Rebound. Caulfield shoots and scores.
NHL play-by-play on Sirius XM.
Join me, Scott Laughlin, and Gord Stellick, along with former NHLer Mike Johnson for NHL Morning Skate, weekday morning, 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91. Supply.
This is Molson Leafs Hockey.
About to bring the war right now. Sound the alarm.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Leafs Radio Network.
There's a Molson with your name on it.
Welcome into Molson Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network. Ailish Forvar and Justin Cuthbert just finished our pregame show. We'll still be here for the intermissions and get you teed up for Leafs on the road to face Columbus tonight. Last game before the Christmas break. Sheldon Keefe has decided to switch up a couple lines tonight. We've got Martin Jones in net and lots to go through still before we send it to puck drop. So do you want to start with the lines?
Yeah, I think it's worth starting with the lines because we've seen a change to the top six. It's a familiar look, but it's a change nonetheless. Auston Matthews, who's on pace for 1 million goals, actually 70 goals plus, will center a line with Matthew Nyes and Mitch Marner. Once again, Mitch Marner, of course, has been playing on the second line. He'll switch with William Nylander, forming a trio that has been really, really good for the Maple Leafs this year. It was reluctance, I think, on the part of Sheldon Keefe to go away from the partnership between William Nylander and Tyler Bertuzzi, which was working so well, but it was kind of stale between Matthews and Marner. So we split them up a couple weeks ago, but they're back together. Tavares, Nylander, Bertuzzi, who have been so good in their minutes together so far this season. So this might just be the A look they're going back to tonight with Matthews and Marner, and of course the second line with Bertuzzi, Tavares, and Nylander. No change to the third line. Robertson, Domi, and Yarncroke will continue to work on the third unit, while McMahon, Kampf, and Gregor will continue to form a fourth line, which I think might be the best the Maple Leafs can offer at this point with Ryan Reeves still on the shelf. So some change, but some familiar looks for Sheldon Keefe and the Maple Leafs.
And for the D pairings, Morgan Rielly will be with TJ Brody, Jake McCabe will be with Timothy Liljegren, and Simon Benoit will be with William Lagesson. So switch there, Brody back with Rielly and McCabe moving to the left side.
And also Connor Timmins out for William Lagesson. So Simone Benoit.
I like William Lagesson.
I like Lagesson too. Simone Benoit, though, has definitely climbed a couple rungs in the ladder over the last couple weeks and months. Some spot performances for Mark Giordano, Timothy Liljegren was out, TJ Brody even had an absence in there, and Simone Benoit has gotten a lot of runway, which was maybe unexpected, but he's done a lot with it. He's definitely been a big part of this Maple Leafs decor, and even when there are additions, even when Giordano comes back, even when they're fully equipped to tackle a postseason series, Simone Benoit might be there in the end.
So this will be their last game before a couple days off, and they'll be back on the 27th to play the Ottawa Senators. So it's a good day, a good amount of time to have a regroup, but I think it's coming at a good time, right? A pretty bad game against the Buffalo Sabres last time we were on the air, which was Thursday night, a 9-3 loss. Tonight they're playing an opponent who is also at the bottom-ish of the league, and when you look at the way that they have performed against lower ranked teams, it's been pretty bad. They are 1-2-2, which is like a 400 batting 400 against the worst of the league in 5 games and in the bottom 5 spots. Sorry.
And that's with the benefit of loser points.
Yeah, that's true. That is the benefit of that. So I don't know what it is. If it's just undervaluing your opponent, not respecting their level of play, coming out with an air of confidence, or maybe even cockiness that you are just better than this team and you don't need to perform to the highest level, getting off to slow starts. There's a couple things that could be at play to why the Maple Leafs just cannot elevate or even play to the standard that they play against the best of the teams, right? So it's a conundrum. I'm sure Sheldon Keefe is frustrated with it because when his team wants to play well, they can certainly dominate on all ends of the ice for 60 minutes plus. But it just hasn't been the way that they approach lower ranked teams.
Yeah, and if you knew the solution for it, I guess there wouldn't be a problem. I do think it comes down to professionalism. I do think it comes down to just treating every opponent equally, having that killer mentality, just wanting to take care of business every single night. And the next three opponents are firmly in the bottom five, Columbus twice and Ottawa Senators, who are kind of there for reasons that do include, being behind in the scheduling just a little bit. But the next three opponents are in that position where they're firmly in the bottom five, and the Maple Leafs have one win out of 5 games so far against teams in the bottom 5. So it's been a struggle against bad teams. They have a chance to sort of switch that narrative up here in short order, and that includes tonight. I mean, maybe we won't be talking about it, or they won't be thinking about it all holiday break long if they can actually show what is supposed to be true, which is that there's a chasm between the Maple Leafs and the Blue Jackets right now. One team should be thinking about winning playoff series and winning a Stanley Cup. The other should be thinking about, developing prospects at a decent level and try to turn their fortunes around. The Maple Leafs have another opportunity to prove that they are better than a team who they are better than. They just got to take some of these opportunities.
And I think it's a great opportunity for Martin Jones to continue to, impress. I know he got in relief for Thursday night's game against the Sabres, and it wasn't great. It was not great from top to bottom for anybody. He let in 4 goals. But tonight it's a blank slate. He's playing, starting the game for his team. The team knows that they're having a bit of a goaltending issue with Ilya Samsonov. So play well in front of Martin Jones. Give him that confidence boost he needs while he goes into the break. Samsonov sitting on the bench, hopefully just evaluating where he's at. But I think it's important to get out to a lead early on, to protect your goaltender, to give him an air of confidence, because it's pretty thin, back there. Like, there's a lot of question about what's next for Samsonov, what's next for Hildeby, what's next for Joseph Wall, Martin Jones. Is there a goaltender out there that could be a Maple Leaf come the trade deadline? Like, there's a lot to be gleaned from the next couple performances, but Martin Jones can continue to prove that he's been a good acquisition that snuck through waivers and is a part of this Maple Leafs roster.
Yeah, and maybe one of the most important additions for Brad Treliving all summer long, if it goes the way of Martin Jones here. I do think the big difference between the two options in goal for the Maple Leafs right now is that what has happened is not going to affect what is going to happen with Martin Jones. This guy's a professional. He's been around for a while. He's a guy who's started as a backup, was a starter that went to a Stanley Cup final, and has been a backup again, and has now been relegated to a third goaltender and hasn't made any excuses, has just been a professional.
Yeah.
While Ilya Samsonov, I'm not going to say he's not been professional, but Ilya Samsonov is quite clearly affected by what's going on outside of his own game and outside of the Maple Leafs locker room. He is definitely affected by his performance, where his contract is, what people are saying about him. I don't know what the root of the issue is, but Ilya Samsonov is affected by things. We can see it in the play. We've seen it in his conversation. We've heard him talk about it before. So if we're looking at one goaltender who can shut things out versus another goaltender who can't really stop anything right now, it's an easy decision. The problem is they're back-to-backs and games coming at a really, really high rate, and eventually you're going to have to use Samsonov, or you're going to have to do something else about it. But right now, the Jones starts are the least of the Maple Leafs' concerns.
All right, so somebody that has been pretty consistent and a player to watch is Auston Matthews. Our player to watch, presented by Bet365. Visit the app for the latest odds and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 19 plus, Ontario only. Play responsibly. I didn't even ask you. I just went and did this myself because I think Auston Matthews is a player to watch.
Oh, I'll take the backseat. Sure.
He's on a 6-game goal streak, has 12 in his last 8 games. Most goals by a Maple Leaf in an 8-game streak since 1925, 26. Don't remember that season too well, but Matthews has been pretty electric. Last player in the NHL to have more than 12 games in an 8-game span was Alex Ovechkin, who can't score anymore. He did get the OT winner the other night, though. Did you see that?
Yeah, he's turning things around.
Yeah, okay, maybe there's something there.
He might get a record after all.
And Matthews, is Elvis playing tonight? Our buddy Merzlikins. Is he playing? Yeah, we should double check. He's got 5 goals on 21 career shots on him. So a pretty good shooting percentage. So your numbers on Bet365. Hart Trophy. We talked about this a little bit in the pregame show. You know, he's 6th odds for the Hart Trophy. If the Maple Leafs do go somewhere this year, might be interesting. Plus 900 for the Hart. He's the leader in the clubhouse for the Rocket Richard, of course, at plus 100. But tonight, if you want to sprinkle something, 2 or more goals at plus 250.
And those goals will come, at least to start, against Daniil Tarasov getting the start for the Columbus Blue Jackets tonight. Tarasov versus Martin Jones. Merzlikins still licking his wounds after the Ovechkin winner and a very, very emotional game against the Washington Capitals the other night. But yeah, it'll be Tarasov. Another goal to like the Columbus, if we're talking about what they've done well from a draft and development standpoint, they seem to be able to turn out some goaltenders. So Tarasov gets the chance against the Leafs tonight. It'll be a veteran versus a young guy with the Maple Leafs rolling with Martin Jones, the veteran, versus Tarasov, the younger guy.
Okay, 60 seconds. Who is affected more positively, Marner or William Nylander, by this change in lines?
I would say, I do think it sort of lessens the matchup for Nylander, right? Auston Matthews is the one that sees the top line from the other team, so it's more of a sheltered look, if you want to call it that, for Nylander. However, I do think Mitch Marner really loves playing with Auston Matthews, and I'm sure he'll be quite pleased about the decision as well. So it's another opportunity for Marner to reverse which was a bit of a stale partnership when they broke those two up. But these things ebb and flow. Like, it just seems like Marner and Matthews have good times and bad. And if they can get things rolling, it might benefit Mitch Marner a little bit more.
All right, Joe Bowen and Jim Ralph will have the call of the first period after the break. You're listening to Molson Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590, The Fan, and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Dashing through the field on Channel 88. Catch the Sunday drive. Playoffs on the way.
This is Steve Torrey. Join Bill Leckus and me for a Christmas Eve edition of the Sunday Drive at noon Eastern. Touchdown! For live listen-ins, guests, and fantasy analysis around the NFL. Then catch a Christmas Day triple header between the Raiders, Chiefs, Giants, and Eagles, Ravens, and 49ers on NFL Radio Channel 88 and the Sirius XM app.
24/7 hockey talk.
One of the greatest goaltenders of all time, Patrick Waugh. When you put your hands up, did you know at that moment that you were done?
No, I did not. Unfortunately, it happened. Just gave me a chance to have a fresh start somewhere else and be traded to Colorado was a good opportunity. Sometimes you need that little, change, and it was welcome for me.
Sirius XM, NHL Network Radio. Sirius XM 91. And on your schedule with the Sirius XM app. The Point with Boomer Gordon.
18 months ago, I had New Flyers head coach John Tortorella. And I asked him what he was worried about the club, and he said, I don't like the room. We have a bad room. And I'm like, you haven't even coached this team yet. A year and a half later, John Tortorella loves his room. He loves this team, and he loves that they compete every night.
Point with Boomer Gordon. 1 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app. The best player analysts and insiders live on NHL Network Radio. Mike Johnson.
5-on-5 defensive game for Tampa is getting to the point, Gord, where it is a concern. And it's not just because Vasilevsky hasn't played the entire season. They're giving up almost 4 goals a game. No matter how good your offense is, that's not going to be able to be sustainable.
Get the latest opinion and analysis you need on the home of hockey, NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app. The Power Play with Steve Koulias.
It's between the Ken Hitchcock dots. And the Sens are too loosey-goosey there. They talk the talk, but they don't walk the walk. Ottawa's not like that. And until that part really improves, I don't believe they'll be a playoff team. They'll wow you. They'll wow the fans. They'll win or lose 5-4. But right now, they're middling right now. They're a middling hockey club.
The Power Play. Weekdays 3 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app. If you're a soccer fan, you know that this music means one thing. The Champions League is on Sirius XM FC.
Hat-trick for Erling Haaland. Kane scores!
The top teams from around Europe are battling for club soccer's holy grail.
Real Madrid do what they do best. What a start for Inter.
Hear all the top Champions League matches all tournament long on Sirius XM FC 157 and streaming on the Sirius XM app.
Under review.
And if someone says, well, he's good in the room, you know what? They don't have a good in the room stat in the standings. I've yet to find that category. It's one of the most overplayed things. They better be good in the room. That's the least you better bring when you join a National Hockey League team.
Under review
with Mick Kern.
11 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio.
Sirius XM 91 and the Sirius XM app. The biggest names in the game.
Trying to get behind Ristolainen. Walks in. Put it between his legs. Shoots it. Score!
NHL play-by-play on Sirius XM.
Leafs Radio Network.
In Buffalo once again, 9-3 the other night as they tangle with the Blue Jackets in Columbus. And the interns of the Iced Igloos tonight, brought to you by Superior Door and Gate Systems, Canada's top choice for automatic doors and security gates, security fencing, and bollards. Because security can only be measured by what it will save you. Martin Jones, 3-1-0 this year and 4-4-0 lifetime against the Blue Jackets, gets the call for the Maple Leafs. He has a 3.28 goals against average, a .907 save percentage. And it will be Daniil Tarnasov, 1-1-0 this year, 4.60 his goals against average. He has been in goal against the Maple Leafs, but did not start a game and did not give up a goal in a relief appearance. So the Leafs will have their... Well, we're going to find out a little bit about the character of this team. When you get blown out like they did the other night, you would expect some kind of a response here this evening, Mr. Ralph.
Well, Buffalo Sabres got blown out by Columbus, and the Leafs saw what the Sabres' response was, and that was a 9-3 win a couple of nights ago.
Leafs to the right, the Blue Jackets to the left. As the puck is down in the Blue Jacket zone, stolen by the Maple Leafs. A pass by Bertuzzi was knocked away, and it is pushed out at center ice now by Columbus. On Goodrow gets it up on the left wing side. Going hard to the net there was Danforth, and it's smothered by Jones. First good scoring chance comes there as Danforth went hard to the net. The Oshawa native and Fantilli got him the puck, but Jones covered up nicely.
In Toronto, Danforth had a goal and 2 points on the night in the 6-5 overtime win for the Blue Jackets. And he's only had a goal and 4 points in his last 11 games. So 2 of those coming in the win against Toronto.
Jones tracked that puck really well into his pad and down around his knee and was able to cover up on it. Leafs have made one lineup adjustment, if you will, and that is... Marner moving up with Matthews and Nylander moving back with Tavares and Bertuzzi as the Leafs send it down the ice off a face-off win, and it's an icing call, and it'll come back into the Toronto zone as a result. The Leafs will not play again until Wednesday as they have the Christmas break. Remember the days we used to pack everything up, Boxing Day, and off we go.
6 a.m.
into the wild blue yonder, as those were some of the most ridiculous games I think I have ever been a part of.
Remember a game in Atlanta?
Oh, yes. Yes, now that you bring it up.
The Leafs were delayed leaving Toronto, so did not
Icing
get a
here
chance
against Columbus.
Did not get a chance to skate before the game in Atlanta. And if memory serves, Curtis Joseph got the start, but not the finish.
Not the finish, no.
Glenn Healy, I think, was originally told he was starting. But so the Leafs essentially off the ice for, I believe it was 4 days. No practice, nothing. Then get out there, boys.
Yep. And I remember a night in Pittsburgh where Kevin McGuire scored the first goal as a backhand shot, is swallowed up here by Tarasov, and then Mario Lemieux and company scored the next 11. And
is that enough?
Yeah, that was enough. And then a couple of days later, Cliff Fletcher pulled the trigger on the Doug Gilmour deal. So
a little easier to make blockbuster trades back then. You didn't have to have the accountants going through to see if you could afford it or not.
No.
With the salary
shot
cap.
off the angle, a shot high and wide of the Columbus goal. Riley keeping the puck in around back for Nyes. Far corner for Marner. Marner sends it towards the net, but it doesn't reach it. And Werenski got it to the line, but not out. Riley in with a deflection there by Matthews. Good save made by Tarasov. And the 11-1 loss, Grant Fuhr was in goal for all 11. That was the other part of the evening, as I recall. Icing call here against Columbus, and it's going to come back into the Blue Jacket zone. Blue Jackets with a record of 11-17-6. They are 7-9-3 at Nationwide Arena.
You really like that play by Morgan Riley at the left point. Looks up, a little wrist shot right towards the area where Auston Matthews is cruising through. Well, I think it's about going for Matthews. You're almost surprised the rebound didn't end up back on his stick.
Face off to the right, won by Toronto, pushed back to the blue line by McMahon, and then the shot was blocked, and another pass comes out on an open wing. The Leafs get back, McMahon to the defense corps. Up ahead it comes for David Camp across the line, left wing side. Gregor with a wrist shot that was blockered away by Tarasov. Puck in the far corner, and it is pushed out into the center ice area and now brought on by Johnson. Kent Johnson sends it into the Toronto zone. Lagesson given a jolt, but was able to move the puck, but not out. Long shot from the blue line, went wide. Wrap-around attempt coming in front of the goal. Oh, and I think that Jones just got over with the left pad, or it may have hit the side of the net, but he was there. Back to the point of shot, and Jones out at the top of the crease is able to snare that with the left hand. And already the Maple Leafs have gotten better goaltending than they had in Buffalo the other night.
Certainly well documented, the struggles of Ilya Samsonov, but as we discussed before we actually went on the air, it's not as if he's trying to tell reporters or the public he's playing better than he is. He knows. I mean, the one thing about the position, you don't have to do a whole lot of research to see if somebody's struggling or not, and you can't hide from it.
And a forward that goes into a slump, not scoring, goes 5, 6, 10. If it's Auston Matthews, is he playing badly or is he just not lucky? That he's getting chances, not scoring. But goaltenders, it's on display pretty quickly, isn't it?
Well, it's just hard to
camouflage
to come up and say that somebody's just had bad bounces for an extended period of time.
There's a wraparound attempt, stopped there by Jones, carried by Yarncrook back of the Leaf goal, got it up on the right wing side. The other change in the Leaf lineup is that William Lagesson is into the game. Connor Timmins, who was -4, as was Max Domi, is scratched here this evening. Here's McCabe with a shot in traffic, didn't make it through. Yarncrook, or at least Robertson, in the far corner trying to kick it free. Had it taken away by Corrali and played out at center. One of the Leafs was hauled down there with no call. Brought in over the line, and a drop pass and a long wrist shot is steered away nicely by Jones. Far side, Fantilli sending it around the boards. It's going to come all the way back out into the center ice area and down into Columbus territory. 16:37 to go in the first. There's no score. Werenski got it ahead. Sliding in over the line now, and a shot that was deflected wide by Jones. Played into the corner, round back of the net. Blue Jackets have already had 7 shots on goal here. So if the Maple Leafs were planning on having a real good defensive game in front of their goaltender, they're letting him be a major part of the effort already. Cleared off the glass by the Leafs and down into Columbus territory. Gudbranson played it around on the left wing side. Launched high from the far side in over the line. Fantilli can't come up with it cleanly. Leafs are able to get it to the line, and Nylander got it out into the center ice area. Now Matthews playing it back to his defense. Looks for a return pass, but it's nowhere near him. And then shot by Columbus back into the Leaf end, but from the wrong side of center. And so it benefits Toronto with an icing call coming here.
Well, we can talk about Ilya Samsonov all you want, but overall, the Leafs are 26th in a 32-team league when it comes to goals against average, 3.43. Columbus Blue Jackets are 31st, 3.62, which may lead you to believe that not only will the shots be high tonight, but so will the goal scoring.
Played off to an open wing and then brought in offside by Fantilli, and they'll be brought back out into the center ice. And remember last year, the Leafs' goals against average was pretty darn good. It was up among the league leaders, yes. So that in itself, I mean, there's personnel changes. Yes, they've had a defense core that's been depleted by injuries and everything else, but the bottom line is that has logged down in between the pipes where most of the... Here's a pass in front of the Leaf goal that was knocked away. All of the attention has been brought out now by Matthews along with Nyes. Into the left wing corner goes Matthews after a loose puck. Got it back to the point. Riley with a pass in a deflection, another shot. And that was stopped. The rebound by Marner. Both times Marner with the chance at net. And now he has it in the corner. Back it goes to the blue line. Riley at the left point with a shot in traffic. And Tarasov is able to get a left hand on that and catches it and hold on. But Mitch Marner with a couple of good scoring chances down low.
What a great defensive play by Auston Matthews before that. It was Chinnikov was about to unload it towards the net. And as he was about to let it go, Auston Matthews played the role of the thief, lifted his stick, and the Leafs were able to turn back the other way.
17 points for Marner in the last 9 games against Columbus. Tavares about to take the face-off. And apparently won it. It comes back to the blue line and is shot out and down the ice. And no icing, so there is icing. Yep, sorry. I didn't see the official coming into the picture. And now the face-off will come back into the Columbus zone once more.
Now, if you wonder how you can be in a playoff position when you're 26th in goals against, how about being 4th in offense? 3.57. Columbus comes in at 3.15 goals per game. That's 16th best in the NHL.
Blue Jackets win the face-off and get it to center. Bemstrom trying to work into the left wing corner. It comes back towards the point, kept alive by the Blue Jackets. They work it down into the corner with Kent Johnson getting it there. Leafs come away with it and play it off Tavares' stick to Nylander, who's going to bank it off the boards, and Tavares does well to just get it out into neutral ice. Bertuzzi up forechecking, then thinks better of it as he heads to the bench. Played to the line, blocked there off the stick of Cole Sillinger. Shot down into the Toronto end. Here's Jake McCabe taking his time as the rest of the change comes. Bobby McMahon circles back in his own zone, and now McCabe goes D to D with the puck on the right wing side, and it is deflected down in on goal. Columbus gets there first. Juracek got it up on the wing, and it is deflected down into the Toronto end. 13:50 or 45 left to play here in the first period. No score. Played back to the point. Juracek keeping it in. Tries to pass in front of the net, and it was deflected just wide of the goal. Leafs with it in the near corner, and now trying to find some skating room is David Camp. He's going to backhand it ahead, and it's played off the stick of Benoit into the center ice area. Now the Leafs come away with it. Lagesson getting it up on the right side. Robertson gets it down into the corner. Here's Gregor trying to find a man out in front. Sends it towards the corner again. Another shot towards the net. Deflected wide, and it ends up being deflected high into the screen and out of play. 13:08 left to play here in period number 1. There's no score. The Leafs send the Columbus Blue Jackets. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590, The Fan, and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
If you're a soccer fan, you know that this music means one thing. The Champions League is on Sirius XM FC.
Hat-trick for Erling Haaland. Kane scores!
The top teams from around Europe are battling for club soccer's holy grail.
Real Madrid do what they do best. What a start for Inter!
Hear all the top Champions League matches all tournament long on Sirius XM FC 157 and streaming on the Sirius XM app.
The best player analysts and insiders live on NHL Network Radio. Mike Johnson.
5-on-5 defensive game for Tampa is getting to the point, Gord, where it is a concern. And it's not just because Vasilevsky hasn't played the entire season. They're giving up almost 4 goals a game. No matter how good your offense is, that's not going to be able to be sustainable.
Get the latest opinion and analysis you need on the home of hockey, NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app.
The Power Play with Steve Koulias.
It's between the Ken Hitchcock dots. And the Sens are too loosey-goosey there. They talk the talk, but they don't walk the walk. Ottawa's not like that. And until that part really improves, I don't believe they'll be a playoff team. They'll wow you. They'll wow the fans. They'll win or lose 5-4. But right now, they're middling right now. They're a middling hockey club.
The Power Play. Weekdays 3 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app.
Hi, this is Ray Hudson, and for all the biggest matches from club soccer's holy grail, the UEFA Champions League, tune in to Sirius XM FC 157.
Radio Network.
First period presented by Bet365. Visit the app for the latest odds and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 19 plus, Ontario only. Play responsibly. No score, first period. And the faceoff down in the Columbus zone. Draw a scrum by Domi. Kicked it back to the blue line. Brody gets it into the slot, and fanning on it completely was Nick Robertson. Played off the boards to center and down into the Leaf end. Morgan Riley pumps it along the boards, and it is deflected out into the center ice zone. Peake goes back to retrieve it for the Blue Jackets. Gives it off to his defense partner. Jiricek gets it ahead at center. Having some difficulties with it and turning back now is Johnny Gaudreau. Got it up on the wing, intercepted by Toronto. Robertson just does get it out. Now makes a nifty little pass to Riley. Riley rings the boards with it in the offensive zone. Comes back to the point. McCabe down into the corner. Round on the boards for Nyes, who's fresh off the bench. Nyes trying to work along the boards with Justin Danforth draped on him as it comes back to the point. Kept in by Toronto. Bouncing shot went wide of the Columbus goal. Domi couldn't come up with it. And Jiricek will get it back into his own end. Blue Jackets having difficulty getting out of the corner as Marchenko plays it off into the near corner. The defense now play it ahead, and Peake gets it up on the wing, but they still don't get out. Now Marner steals. It goes around back of the net. Marner curling out of the into the slot. Right wing side scores! Auston Matthews in his favorite spot. And Marner stole the puck after the Blue Jackets had about 3 opportunities, one would think, to move the puck out of their own end and didn't.
And yet it was the patience of Mitch Marner. He could have fired it right away, but instead Marner, who picks the puck off right in the circle to the left of the Columbus goaltender. Marner looks up, instead waits, circles the net, comes out the other side and finds the seam to get it to Auston Matthews, who's just inside the same dot that Mitch Marner had originally picked it off in. And Auston Matthews continues to scorch NHL goaltenders.
He is on a 6-game scoring streak, or a 7-game goal streak, 13 over the last 9 games, which ties him on a streak with John Anderson, Rick Vive, Frank Mahovlich, Lauren Carr, and Busher Jackson for goals over a 13-game span. And now the Leafs are back at it, playing it down into the corner as Brody. 1-0 Toronto. Brody lost his stick, and one of the Blue Jackets was upended, and Provorov. And here are the Blue Jackets getting it in over the line. Bemstrom sends it to the net, steered wide. Jones has been very steady for Toronto thus far. Round back of the net. Now Toronto out shooting Columbus 10-8. But Auston Matthews gets the goal that opens the scoring for Toronto. Played down in along the boards. Stolen back now by David Camp. Circles into the corner now around back of the net. Backhand pass was blocked. He sends it on his forehand back of the net. Gregor trying to work along the far board, sends it in front of the net and went off his skate, but grabbed off by Benoit. His shot hit a body in front, deflects into the corner, and now Columbus just playing it off the glass to center ice. Leafs quickly play it back at center. Sent in now by McMahon, and the Blue Jackets go back to restore. Half the first period in the books. The Leafs with a 1-0 lead. Liljegren laying it off to the boards for his defense partner McCabe. Flipped ahead. Bobby McMahon gets it to center. Blue Jackets trying to send it right back in again, and they have. Gobbled up by Texier. Working on the board. Stolen there by McCabe. Pushed ahead on the left wing for Domi. Domi trying to cut in. Made a behind the back pass. And unexpecting it there was Yarncrook. Here are the Blue Jackets back into the Leaf zone. Pass intercepted by Max Domi coming back in the back check. And he'll get to center and chip it in over the line. 9.5 minutes to play first period. The Leafs with a 1-0 lead. Provorov comes to center, launches it high. It goes off the glass, back of the net. Lagesson got it up on the wing, took a hit, goes after a loose puck to get it to Marner. Marner's pass was intercepted, played back to the point. Now on the right wing side, chance here for Severson. That was blocked before it reached the Leaf goal. Into the far corner now. Trying to come up with it is Severson. He loses it, and it's launched on a high bounce down into Columbus territory. Both teams changing. Provorov with the puck in his own zone for Columbus.
I don't think Columbus has had a shot since Matthews opened the scoring.
They'll shoot it in from center. Round the boards it comes in the Toronto zone. Chip back in along the boards. It comes free and a pass in front, but that was deflected wide. It comes to the side of the goal. Jones failed to control the puck. It comes into the near corner, and now Nyes with a good hit there on Eric Gudbranson to steal up. Now here's a chance for Marchenko to steal in a shot. Big save by Jones. Boy, he telegraphed out nicely there to take the angle away. Took it off the chest. And the Leafs getting much better goaltending here in the first period, obviously, than they did in Buffalo. Now here are the Blue Jackets with the puck, getting it back to the point. Walking in off the left wing, Werenski dropping it back. Another shot blocked in front of the net by Brody, and then it was chipped wide of the goal. Good pressure here from Columbus, the best they've had since the opening goal. Jam play stopped again by Jones as he managed to get that left pad anchored up against the goalpost. And we get a penalty here against Columbus, I believe.
I don't know what's going on. The Jackets touched the puck at center ice and got the whistle. And yeah, it looks like Zach Werenski is going to go. Looks like TJ Brody's going to go with him, though.
All right. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590, The Fan, and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Unhibernate. A verb. To laugh in the face of snow because you drive a Subaru. As in, when I unhibernate, I have the roads all to myself because my Subaru has symmetrical full-time all-wheel drive and others don't. Or, the award-winning safety in my Subaru means I can unhibernate all winter while my neighbors stare longingly from their bedroom windows. Or my favorite usage, I am going to unhibernate this winter by visiting my local Subaru dealer today. Welcome to Uncommon Winter Confidence.
Compare and you'll see why it's time to move up to Heathwood. Learn more at heathwood.com.
Think truck.ca. So when you gotta move, all moving day. Think 2-minute truck.ca. Cause all of us movers are not the same. So that's our company name, 2menintruck.ca. We're lots of men with lots of trucks, so give us a call today.
You're listening to Toronto Maple Leafs hockey.
Long shot, deflects in front of the goal. They backhand it into the net.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Leafs Radio Network.
Got a nice phone call today from one of our favorite people who was so disappointed he wasn't able to draft you out of the Sioux. Sherwood Basson.
I think he got over it.
He wanted to wish everybody a happy holiday season, and he's one of my favorites. He just is. He is
one of the great characters of the game.
Hockey has flowed through those veins from the start. Just amazing career spent in junior hockey. Sherry Basson. He was with Oshawa when I first started the Sudbury Wolves back in the 70s. Here's a chance now for the Columbus Blue Jackets. A centering pass knocked out of the air on a nice play by Severson. But Jones was right there to get a blocking glove in front of it. Tavares unable to get into the zone, but carrying on is Nylander going wide. Nylander driving the net, and he got through the goal crease area, but couldn't control the puck for a shot. Now he has it again. Down into the corner for Tavares. Tavares twisting and turning with it, looking for Willie. Still has it, works back towards the blue line. Now sends the shot towards the net. Nylander got to it, but couldn't get it away from the goalkeeper, who scooped it into the corner.
Well, Nylander took a couple of hacks and a hold there at the end, unable to draw a penalty as the team's playing 4-on-4 with Werenski and Brody both off.
Now the Jackets come through center ice. Flipping it in is Chinakhov. Down into the corner. It goes around back of the net. Riley got a piece of it. And now it's able to be brought out at center and then turned back by Liljegren. He'll give it off to Yarncrook, who was trailing on the play. He circles back in his own zone. Calle Yarncrook up ahead for Morgan Riley. Tried to shoot it in. Apparently went off a body because there's no icing. And now the Blue Jackets have it under control. David Jiricek getting it ahead at center. Cross the line, trying to work in there, but having it lost was Kent Johnson. The Leafs punch it high down into the zone. Down in the corner is McCabe trying to come up with it. He thinks better of it, heads to the bench. 5:56 to go, first period. 1-0 Toronto. Auston Matthews getting his 27th of the season. Leafs in their own zone. Turning with it is Matthews. Dished it off to Marner. Marner comes through neutral ice. He's by himself, surrounded by 4 Blue Jackets. And it's played around the boards and controlled now by Andrew Peeke. Blue Jackets in their own zone. Get it up on the wing. Of course, the last meeting between these two teams was rather entertaining. The Leafs fell behind 5-0. Managed to come back with 5 goals in the third period to tie it, but lost it in overtime. Shot from an angle goes wide of the Leaf goal. Near side, Andrew Peeke sends it down into the corner. Blue Jackets trying to work out with it. Had it knocked to the blue line, not out. Kept alive then by Corrali, who sends it around into the far corner. Marner has found it there, and he sends an alley-oop into the center ice area. Blue Jackets trying to get it right back into the Toronto zone. Sean Corrali decides, though, a change is necessary, and he sends it back into his own end. 14-12 now, Columbus. As far as the shots on goal are concerned, 4:35 to play, first period. 1-0 Toronto. Pass on the wing, nicely deflected by Fantilli down into the zone. Nobleton native gets in on the forecheck, but it is Camp who was taken off his skates back of the goal. Got it back to the point. It kept in there by the Blue Jackets momentarily, but now the Leafs do get it to center. And it is Noah Gregor bringing it in on the left wing. Thought about shooting it at the net, sends it back to Riley. He sends it to the net. I think that went off the shoulder of Tarasov into the corner. Leafs get it again. Backhand try. And that may have gone off the mask of Tarasov over top of the goal. At least he snapped his head back like he was trying to get his face in front of it. Down around back of the net. Here's a centering pass in front. Oh, what a chance set up there by David Camp. And coming down the chute was Morgan Riley.
Boy, Leafs got a couple of great scoring chances, and it all starts when a clearing attempt hits the referee's skate and ends up onto the stick of David Camp in front of the Columbus net.
Nick Robertson wheeling out at center, had it poked off his stick, but then Lagesson was there to back him up. He gives it to Jake McCabe. McCabe looking, long pass up on the right side, fed in by Domi down into Columbus territory. Blue Jackets play it off the glass to center. Benoit is there for the Maple Leafs. He returns the favor. And the Blue Jackets are back in their own end again. Jiricek having some difficulties with it, but they find a way to move it up on the far side and now are regrouping it back in the Columbus zone. Played ahead. Whoa! Benoit came roaring in there with a hit on Jiricek. Now here are the Blue Jackets working back into the Toronto zone. Dropping it back, kept alive by Provorov. Played into the corner. Back to Provorov in the slot. A shot blockered away nicely there by Jones. Flipped up on the wing then by Bertuzzi, but not out. Here are the Blue Jackets with it again. Fired around the wall by Marchenko. Into the far corner, and a shot went wide of the Leaf goal. Bounces into the slot, intercepted by Bertuzzi. Quickly fed ahead, just out of the reach of Nylander, and it's going to turn into an icing instead of what might have been a partial breakaway. Boy, the experiment of Nylander at center took that away, didn't it? That burst and just his timing. He knows when to go. And the number of opportunities he gets off of almost a partial or a full breakaway is really
What did
remarkable.
that last? About 3 games of preseason?
Maybe not even that.
Yeah.
Let's do by periods.
Yeah.
Face off in the Toronto zone. Controlled by the Leafs, but not out. Flipped off a body, and it comes to center ice. Nylander unable to reach it. He's trying to get a change of players started. Brought back in over the line by Cole Sillinger. Around the board's far side, centering pass didn't make the front of the net, and Riley works it back of the goal to his defense partner, who gets it up on the wing quickly, and Tavares starts out. Tavares getting it ahead, and Bertuzzi chips it down into the Columbus zone with 1:50 to go in the period. 1-0 Toronto. Auston Matthews with the goal. Back of the net, the Leafs trying to come out in front. Still with it now, back of the goal, trying to come out to the near side to Riley, a shot! And he had some room on that far side, but Tarasov managed to get the glove in front of it and is able to stop play with a faceoff coming in the Columbus zone. 1-0 in favor of the Maple Leafs on a goal by Auston Matthews. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590, The Fan, and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
The Dodgers get Shohei Ohtani.
When the sports world is talking, nobody gives you more perspectives than the experts of SiriusXM.
10 years, $700 million. That's insane.
Hear instant reaction on Mad Dog Sports Radio.
Shohei Ohtani is Babe Ruth, only better.
Expert analysis on MLB Network Radio.
I'm not sure that all of the contracts that I ever negotiated even total $700 million.
Where the players join the discussion.
Will Smith, Dodgers catcher.
He's the best player in baseball.
Live sports talk when you need it on SiriusXM and the SiriusXM app.
The best player analysts and insiders live on NHL Network Radio.
Mike Johnson.
5-on-5 defensive game for Tampa is getting to the point, Gord, where it is a concern. And it's not just because Vasilevsky hasn't played the entire season. They're giving up almost 4 goals a game. No matter how good your offense is, that's not going to be able to be sustainable.
Get the latest opinion and analysis you need on the home of hockey, NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91, and the SiriusXM app. The Power Play with Steve Koulias.
It's between the Ken Hitchcock dots. And the Sens are too loosey-goosey there. They talk the talk, but they don't walk the walk. Ottawa's not like that. And until that part really improves, I don't believe they'll be a playoff team. They'll wow you. They'll wow the fans. They'll win or lose 5-4. But right now, they're middling right now. They're a middling hockey club.
The Power Play.
Weekdays 3 p.m. Eastern
On NHL Network Radio.
SiriusXM 91 and the SiriusXM app.
Hi, this is Ray Hudson, and for all the biggest matches from club soccer's holy grail, the UEFA Champions League, tune in to SiriusXM FC 157.
And the Leafs Radio Network.
Maple Leafs with a 1-0 lead on Auston Matthews' 27th goal of the season. Mitch Marner with the assist. He now has 35 points. Matthews with 39. Nylander continues to lead with 42. Icing call coming here against the Blue Jackets.
1:30 to go here in the first period. The shots on goal are 15 apiece. So not quite, you would think you want to shut things down, keep it tight. I think the shots would be on 9-7 at this point. Both teams have had some pretty good scoring opportunities. But only Auston Matthews has scored in the 30 shots taken between these two clubs.
Matthews in the corner, couldn't get it back to Morgan Riley. A long lead pass and a foot race here for icing that's going to be won by Brody.
Unless you're in the stands in Columbus and have your stopwatch because you think that race went the other way.
Might have needed a tail of the tape.
Yes.
Just the finish line. I think it was very, very close.
1:20 to go. The Matthews line will stay out for the face-off in the Columbus zone.
They elect to have the face-off in the circle to the left of the goaltender. Minute 20 to go in the period. Draw one by the Maple Leafs. Played by McCabe along the wall, but it's punched out at center ice. Hustling back, Matthews to try to get in the way and does. Forces it into the corner. McCabe able to come away with the puck, but then lost it. Played it back of the net. It comes out on the side, and now almost stolen there by a Blue Jacket, but the Leafs get it ahead, and one of the Blue Jackets is limping to the bench. I could not get...
Sean Corrali, I believe.
Corrali? Yeah, number 7. Yeah, I couldn't see whether it was 7 or 2, but he was hunched over and in some pain. Not sure how that happened. Less than a minute to go in the period. Leafs have it in the offensive zone. Send it down into the corner. Provorov trying to get to it, but can't. And now here's Gaudreau sending it down into the Toronto zone. Sharp angle there for Danforth. Trying to center. Plays it back into the corner again. Gaudreau sends it back to him. The Leafs are able to pry it free. And now here's Brody stick handling his way to center. He'll get to the red line. And there's a whistle.
I think this was offside. What have we got a medical emergency, maybe?
Yes. We have something going on. And they are asking for the emergency crew to come out from where the Zamboni is, and he's not making any great headway.
And you hope, I mean, this isn't related to Sean Corrali and the injury.
Well, I mean, this is you would have thought that maybe the team doctors were down there. Let's watch Corrali. He got hit and then bent over. And
he's holding his midsection skating off.
Okay, now I don't see a trail of blood or anything like that, so I don't think he got cut with a stick or something, but while he was at the bench.
I mean, this is something that the trainers know right away.
Yeah. So with 18.4 seconds left, we have a bit of a situation here for Sean Corrali.
Now, both teams are both huddled in front of the Columbus bench. And it seemed like a somewhat harmless play, but you could see Corrali in behind the Leaf net after making contact with Auston Matthews, grab his midsection, drop his stick, and then skated bent over all the way to the Columbus bench. We're watching it again. It's Matthews, and then Jake McCabe comes in. It's a simple hit. It wasn't anything violent.
And it wasn't like a skate came up or something of that nature. I don't know what the...
To me, that's what the concern was. You thought maybe skate came up and caught him above the glove. But hopefully for Sean Corrali and the Columbus Blue Jackets that everyone's all right. They're talking to Pascal Vincent and Mark Recchi over on the Columbus bench right now, and they might just shut things down for the last 18 seconds.
30-year-old veteran who played with the Miami University of Ohio.
Yeah, and they're
Bruin.
Yeah, they're going to play the 18 seconds at the start of period number 2. So hopefully, I mean, it looked like just such a fluke play, but obviously, you hope it's not heart related or anything else. As hopefully we'll get an update soon on the health of Sean Corrali.
All right. Well, we will step aside, and Ailish Forfar and Justin Cuthbert hopefully will have more on the injury to Corrali during our first period intermission. The Leafs lead 1-0 on a goal by Auston Matthews. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590, The Fan, and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
SiriusXM Radio Classics is decorating the entire channel.
Why do you say we kind of infest the joint with a little Christmas flavor?
With a wall-to-wall Christmas.
Jingle all the way. Hey, Merry Christmas, old building alone. Yippee!
The golden age of radio remembers Christmas.
Isn't the Christmas season a joyous time of year?
Happening now on Radio Classics Channel 148.
Merry Christmas.
And the SiriusXM app.
The best player analysts and insiders live on NHL Network Radio. Mike Johnson.
5-on-5 defensive game for Tampa is getting to the point, Gord, where it is a concern. And it's not just because Vasilevsky hasn't played the entire season. They're giving up almost 4 goals a game. No matter how good your offense is, that's not going to be able to be sustainable.
You have the latest opinion and analysis you need on the home of hockey, NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app. The Power Play with Steve Koulias.
It's between the Ken Hitchcock dots. And the Sens are too loosey-goosey there. They talk the talk, but they don't walk the walk. Ottawa's not like that. And until that part really improves, I don't believe they'll be a playoff team. They'll wow you. They'll wow the fans. They'll win or lose 5-4. But right now, they're middling right now. They're a middling hockey club.
The Power Play. Weekdays 3 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app. 24/7 hockey talk.
One of the greatest goaltenders of all time. Patrick Waugh, when you put your hands up, did you know at that moment that you were done?
No, I did not. Unfortunately, it happened. Just gave me a chance to have a fresh start somewhere else and be traded to Colorado was a good opportunity. Sometimes you need that little, change, and it was welcome for me.
Sirius XM, NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and on your schedule with the Sirius XM app. The Point with Boomer Gordon.
18 months ago, I had New Flyers head coach John Tortorella. And I asked him what he was worried about the club, and he said, I don't like the room. We have a bad room. And I'm like, you haven't even coached this team yet. A year and a half later, John Tortorella loves his room. He loves this team, and he loves that they compete every night.
Point with Boomer Gordon. 1 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app.
If you're a soccer fan, you know that this music means one thing. The Champions League is on Sirius XM FC.
Hat-trick for Erling Haaland. Kane scores!
The top teams from around Europe are battling for club soccer's holy grail.
Real Madrid do what they do best. What a start for Inter.
Hear all the top Champions League matches all tournament long on Sirius XM FC 157 and streaming on the Sirius XM app.
Under review.
And if someone says, well, he's good in the room, you know what? They don't have a good in the room stat in the standings. I've yet to find that category. It's one of the most overplayed things. They better be good in the room. That's the least you better bring when you join a National Hockey League team.
Under review with Mick Kerr, 11 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app. The biggest names in the game.
Trying to get behind Ristolainen, walks in, put it between his legs, shoots it, score!
NHL play-by-play on Sirius XM.
Leafs Radio Network.
Welcome back to Molson Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network. Leafs lead 1-0 after 20 minutes in Columbus. Justin Cuthbert and Ailish Forfar here for your intermission shows. And of course, if you were listening to Bonesy and Jim Ralph wrapping up that period, 18 seconds still on the clock will be played at the beginning of the second period because a pretty scary situation. We don't have too many updates, but we'll tell you what we know. Sean Crowley of the Columbus Blue Jackets was... He skated off the ice with 18 seconds left, and they've now decided to play that in the second period. So what we know and what we saw was he took a hit down by the end of the boards, pretty seemingly not.
Pretty standard.
Then a puck kind of hit him in the stomach, and he was skating off on his own accord. But once he got to the bench, looked like there was a big situation, some distress. The trainer's calling immediately for the whistle to be blown. And the emergency services helping him get off the ice. So it's very difficult to know more than that. Obviously, we've got as much that we can share with you, but paramedics were brought into the tunnel to attend to him. The game has stopped, and they will continue with the 18 seconds in the second. But players on the bench were really frantically waving towels, trying to signify that, hey, we need to stop the play. We need the paramedics to come from the Zamboni tunnel.
Yeah, stopping the play, they knew something was wrong. It's hard to tell exactly what was going on in the tunnel, why that urgency was so sudden from guys like Eric Branson and the defensive core for the Blue Jackets. But it looked like Corrali was hurt or, did feel something when he took the hit from McCabe. Then he was hit with the puck. Then he skated off the ice. He knew to go to the far boards because that's where the tunnel is. And he didn't get very far down the tunnel before medical staff had to assist after the Columbus Blue Jackets defenseman called for a stoppage in play. So, yeah, all we know is that Corrali was hurt, and there will be 18.4 seconds not added to the second period, but will be played before the second period officially begins. And when we get an update, we will definitely share it.
Yeah, the best I can do is give you some information from Aaron Porcelain, who writes for The Athletic and is, of course, there at the game as one of the Columbus Blue Jackets reporters. He's doing some play-by-play on the Twitter feed here, just saying that they were bringing paramedics into the tunnel, the Blue Jackets bench, to tend to Corrali. The game has stopped. Corrali left the ice on his own accord. They cleared the bench area and was halfway down the tunnel when he stopped. Several players on the bench began frantically waving towels, trying to signal paramedics from the Zamboni tunnel. They're headed to the dressing room. Even though there are 18.4 seconds left in the first period, that will be added to the second period. None of that is a concern now. However, all thoughts are with Sean Corrali. We will echo that as well.
Yeah, let's we'll take a break here, and then we'll talk a little bit about the first period. And the Maple Leafs holding a 1-0 lead over the Columbus Blue Jackets.
You're listening to Molson Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590, The Fan, and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Every year, fans debate over the draft. Who's going first? At Chuck's, they already know. The top draft choice is that icy cold 18-ounce Molson Canadian you're holding, and it's just $4 at Chuck's during Leafs games. No wonder that at draft time, Canadians are always in high demand. Chuck's Roadhouse Bar and Grill. Food the way it ought to be. Price the way it used to be.
NHL All-Star Thursday is coming to Toronto with 3 exciting events in one star-filled night. First, celebrity captains select their teams in the Tim Hortons NHL All-Star Player Draft. Then, the 1967 Stanley Cup champion Maple Leafs are honored in the NHL Alumni Man of the Year. And finally, the best in women's hockey compete in the Canadian Tire PWHL 3-on-3 Showcase. It's NHL All-Star Thursday on February 1st. Buy tickets now starting at $44 at NHL.com/Thursday.
Think 2-minute-truck.ca. So when you gotta move, all moving day. Think 2-minute-truck.ca. Cause all of us movers are not the same. So that's our company name, 2-minute-truck.ca. We're lots of men with lots of trucks, so give us a call today.
Hi, it's Catherine from Great Canadian Meat. What makes a great gift? Well, I think we can all agree that a gift that's homemade is a great gift. A gift that's the same shape as a stocking, that's important. A gift they can eat? Definitely. And if they like to share, a gift you can eat too. Well, that settles it. Our Great Canadian Meat salami and pepperoni sticks are the perfect gift and a perfect addition to your charcuterie board. Pick up Great Canadian Meat at our store in Whitby or online at greatcanadianmeat.com.
Move up to Heathwood. Hi, I'm Hugh Heron. Experience a new level of luxury at Williamsburg Green. Your new single-family home will have all the modern features you dream about, even a fully finished lower level. Kitchener's newest master plan community with bike trails, parks and a new library. Williamsburg Green has it all. It's time to move up to Heathwood. Learn more at heathwood.com.
There are many peculiar words in the English language. Words like solivigant, peregrinate, nemophilus, peripatetic, and conviviality. Yet, there is no word for getting the most out of winter in your Subaru, thanks to symmetrical full-time all-wheel drive and X-Mode. Until now. We call it unhibernate, as in while your neighbors stay home, you'll be unhibernating all winter in your Subaru. So peregrinate to your local Subaru dealer today, and welcome to uncommon winter confidence.
You're listening to Toronto Maple Leafs hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Leafs Radio Network.
Welcome back to Molson Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan, the Maple Leafs Radio Network. Leafs lead 1-0 after 20 minutes in Columbus, thanks to a goal by Auston Matthews. Surprise, surprise, our player to watch. Our Bet365 player to watch, so you're welcome. And the top 6 switched up a little bit. Of course, we laid that all out in the pregame show. Matthews and Marner and Tavares and William Nylander were the switches, and it looks like it's paying off right away.
Yeah, it definitely did. It doesn't look like it. It definitely paid off. Auston Matthews scoring his 27th goal of the year, 27 by Christmas, pretty impressive. And it's on a Marner setup. And it feels like, yeah, we were talking about in the pregame. It did become a little bit stale between those two for whatever reason. But if you go back to it, after some time off, it looks and feels refreshed. And Mitch Marner did exactly what we talked about in the pregame, which is just maybe he's just reinvigorated, playing with Auston Matthews again. And it looked like he wanted to get him the puck, and he got him the puck in a great area to notch yet another goal. Officially, Auston Matthews scoring 25% of the Leafs goals to this point in the season. 1 of 4 belong to Auston Matthews, is the leading goal scorer in the NHL right now. Just a great setup from one of the great setup men for the Leafs, and the best finish, or the best finisher for the Maple Leafs, putting one home.
Yeah, nobody else in the league has a higher goal scoring percentage on their team than Auston Matthews. 25% of Maple Leafs goals are Auston Matthews. On the other side, in the net, Martin Jones looked pretty good that period. Columbus got a lot of shots, especially in the first 10 minutes. Like, they were over 10 shots. They were really firing the puck on net, and he stood tall. This is going to be such a thing to watch for the next little while, how Martin Jones handles being a starter, how he handles just more workload, how he handles the idea that Ilya Samsonov is not really the viable backup, that he's kind of taken that role over. So I thought he had a great first period. Obviously, Columbus is not the Vegas Golden Knights, but they were putting the puck on net, and he was tested quite a lot early.
That was un-Samsonov-like, which is exactly what you want at this point if you're the Toronto Maple Leafs in goal. Like, Martin Jones just looked composed, looked unbothered by the fact that he gave up a bunch of goals in a loss, not a loss for him, and a loss for the Maple Leafs in Buffalo the other night, having to do spot duty for Samsonov. I mean, Martin Jones has been doing just this. It's not like being perfect. It's that he just continues to make the saves he should make. Columbus put a lot of rubber on him, but he dealt with it pretty well. And Martin Jones, even when busy, and this is felt like Saturday night, Pittsburgh Penguins last Saturday had a lot of shots.
Yep.
But nothing of like immense consequence. Martin Jones making the saves he's supposed to make. As long as he does that, Leafs are going to be fine. And the Martin Jones starts are the starts made by their number 3 goaltender coming into the season.
Let's take a look around the NHL with the NHL scoreboard presented by Bet365. Visit the app for the latest odds and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 19 plus, Ontario only. Play responsibly.
2 finals in the book from earlier today. The Dallas Stars, heartbreaker. They beat the Nashville Predators 3-2, scoring 2 late goals.
Like within 10 seconds.
Within 10 seconds, yeah. Just
remaining.
Stole one from the Nashville Predators. And the Panthers beat the Golden Knights 4-2. Currently in the second period, the Red Wings and Devils knotted at 1. The Bruins lead the Wild in the first intermission, 1-0. Lightning and Capitals tied at 1 in the second period. The Senators have a 2-0 lead over the Penguins after 1. The Rangers are up 1-0 on the Sabres, and the Islanders hold a 1-0 lead on the Hurricanes about midway through the first period. 5 more games yet to get underway. The Blues will host the Blackhawks. The Kraken will be in Anaheim. The Coyotes will visit the Avalanche. The Kings will host the Flames, and the Canucks will host the San Jose Sharks.
So I'm just on Twitter, and I saw a tweet here from the Blue Jackets, which I will read to you here. Sean Corrali was injured late in the first period of tonight's game in Toronto. Medical personnel were alerted as a precaution. He's currently being evaluated at the arena. And Bally Sports Columbus has a tweet here, an interview with Dave Matsold.
Okay.
The paramedic response for Sean Corrali was precautionary, and he is going to be okay, is what the tweet says. There's obviously an interview. I can't listen to it while I'm on the radio, but that was a tweet from Bally Sports Columbus. So sounding like some more precautionary reasons, but I'm glad that they're being precautionary because we've seen far too many incidents in, I guess, all of sport lately that have been alarming like this. So that was a scary situation.
That's a sigh of relief, obviously. There was some panic. There was some concern for Crowley. Maybe he was in a lot of pain, but maybe that pain has subsided, at least to a degree in which everyone feels like, he's going to be okay. So that's great news to wrap up the intermission.
All right, we got another minute here. I didn't have to. Oh, no, we don't have another minute.
I didn't think we did.
We have no seconds left, unfortunately. Time flies while you're having fun. Joe Bone and Jim Ralph will have the call in the second period next. You're listening to Molson Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
The Fantasy Football Playoffs are here, and you need Fantasy Sports Radio now more than ever. After a grinding season of injuries, waiver moves, and start-sit decisions, the finish line is in sight.
Don't think of it through the lens of your own team. Think, who are the teams I'm going to be playing? Can I prevent their rosters from getting better?
But making the wrong move could mean the difference between glory or defeat.
Every week, Mike Evans is either scoring or putting up some numbers.
Touchdown, Tampa Bay! Don't lose because you weren't listening. Channel 87 and on the Sirius XM app.
The best player analysts and insiders live on NHL Network Radio. Mike Johnson.
5-on-5 defensive game for Tampa is getting to the point, Gord, where it is a concern. And it's not just because Vasilevsky hasn't played the entire season. They're giving up almost 4 goals a game. No matter how good your offense is, that's not going to be able to be sustainable.
Get the latest opinion and analysis you need on the home of hockey, NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app. The Power Play with Steve Koulias.
It's between the Ken Hitchcock dots. And the Sens are too loosey-goosey there. They talk the talk, but they don't walk the walk. Ottawa's not like that. And until that part really improves, I don't believe they'll be a playoff team. They'll wow you. They'll wow the fans. They'll win or lose 5-4. But right now, they're middling right now. They're a middling hockey club.
The Power Play, weekdays 3 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app.
If you're a soccer fan, you know that this music means one thing. The Champions League is on Sirius XM FC.
Hat-trick for Erling Haaland. Kane scores!
The top teams from around Europe are battling for club soccer's holy grail.
Real Madrid do what they do best. What a start for Inter!
Hear all the top Champions League matches all tournament long on Sirius XM FC 157 and streaming on the Sirius XM app.
The biggest names in the game.
Trying to get behind Ristolainen. Walks in. Put it between his legs. Shoots and scores!
NHL play-by-play on Sirius XM.
Leafs Radio Network.
Scary situation at the end of the first period seems to be under control. Sean Corrali left the ice under some distress. There was a moment of panic at the bench area that has prompted that there will be 18 seconds or so to play to end the first period here. And you can see some of the players talking to one another about how is Corrali doing. He's a native of Niagara Falls, New York. But hard to say what it was. I thought for a moment maybe he lost his wind or had the wind knocked out of him, and that's a real disconcerting feeling when you can't get your breath back. But now the long shot goes down into the glove of Martin Jones. 5.9 seconds left in the first period, and then they'll switch ends.
Martin Jones solid here in the opening period. 16 shots faced to this point before switching ends to start the second period. The Leafs haven't given up a lot off the rush. And in the Buffalo game, they gave up a ton.
Played around back of the net. Final seconds will tick off. I was telling you that when I was going to University of Windsor, we went over to watch the Chicago Bears play the Detroit Lions. I think it was like 1971 or 2. And the Lions were driving for the winning score with just, half a minute or so left in the game. And Chuck Hughes, who was not involved in a play, came walking back to the huddle and just simply collapsed. And Dick Butkus, the famous linebacker of the Chicago Bears, was going crazy trying to get personnel out onto the field. And what had happened is Hughes had a massive heart attack and apparently was dead before he hit the ground. And they worked on him and got him into an ambulance and got him off, and they even finished the game, which was kind of strange. But
Yuri Fisher,
yes,
to it. Rich Peverly in hockey.
Yeah. So the second period is now underway, and the statistical information for the first period is complete. 14 shots apiece in the period, and the Leafs led 1-0 after one. And now the Leafs move from left to right, and now here's a breakaway chance for Gaudreau, goes in and scores.
So much for the odd man rushes as Johnny Gaudreau, who scored in Toronto, takes advantage of the late defenders.
Oh, wait a minute. Not 13, Ralphie, 17. Danforth is going to get the goal. It was Danforth on the breakaway. My bad. Gaudreau got it to him.
I mean, it's a 2-on-2, but Danforth taking the pass from Gaudreau splits the defenders. Jake McCabe and Timothy Liljegren, and walks in and snaps it. Glove side on Martin Jones. That's how Martin Jones entered the game against the Buffalo Sabres. Facing a breakaway against Kyle Opozo, and Columbus has tied it here early in the second.
Long shot goes wide of the Columbus goal, around back of the net. Sweeping it in front of the net was Nyes. It came to the blue line, but Brody had evacuated the zone and now has to play it back at center and sends it in over the line. It comes back to neutral ice. Marner waits for teammates to get onside. Slid it into the near corner. Matthews in there trying to pry it free. The puck squirts back to the blue line. Brody to his defense partner. Morgan Rielly sends it in on a deflection in front of the net there by Marner. And a good pad saved by Tarasov. Now Nyes back to the point, and it gets by Rielly, and it's going to go all the way down the ice, and Jones coming out of the goal to scoop it off the end boards and find Brody. Now Rielly sending it around, but cut off in the far wing there and kept in by Cole Sillinger. Played onto the left wing side, down in along the boards it goes. Grabbed off there by Noah Gregor. Gregor got it back of the net. Sillinger is there, trying to muscle it out in front and back of the goal. The puck comes free to Rielly. He gets it up on the wing, and it's just going to be elevated to center and bouncing down into Columbus territory. And when the icing was raved off, the Leafs had a pretty good jump on it and weren't able to come up with it. That was Noah Gregor with that great speed. And goaltender Tarasov just played it away from him at the last second. Now the Leafs get it right back into Columbus territory. McMahon gets it around back of the net. Camp was given a jolt there by Fantilli. It comes back into the slot and then played out at center, and a penalty, the first one coming. Await both players maybe. There might be a dive attached to it as well.
Well, Fantilli, I think, is going to get a penalty, possibly for embellishment, although he's holding his mouth as if to say that the stick actually came up and caught him in the face, so maybe a little more serious than just a hook.
Well, the referee was pointing at both of them. And is Fantilli going to get an embellishment penalty? And who is...
Yeah, now Max Domi is one. Fantilli is now pointing to the referee up at the scoreboard to look at the replay. We know how that argument ends.
Yeah. So apparently both are going to the penalty box, Camp and Fantilli.
Second time we've played 4-on-4 already in this game. But yeah, that was a bit of a phantom call on Fantilli. I mean, I think it was clear that he was hauled down.
Played into the Toronto zone. Pass over on the right wing side, and swallowing up the wrist shot is Jones with some pushing in front of the net.
Where the frustration might come in that the Leafs really have not been able to get a hold on this game. As you look at the injuries for the Blue Jackets, Patrick Laine got hurt in that game in Toronto, where the Blue Jackets won at 6-5 in overtime, but Jack Roslovic, Boone Jenner, their captain, has been out, as well as Adam Boqvist. So they've had their share of injuries as well. So the guys underperforming, but they've had their injuries too.
Leafs punched it out at center, but then it's brought right back in on the right wing side, and a shot is whistled wide of the net again by Justin Danforth. He tied the game, the Oshawa native, and almost gave them the lead. Brody playing it up on the left wing. Brought in over the line by the Maple Leafs. Stopping up there is Tavares. He stick handles in. Scores! What a move by the captain. He turned and made it look like he was going to send it back to the blue line, and then made another pirouette and launched it over the shoulder of the goalkeeper to give the Leafs the lead again.
The Columbus defenders just go to sleep, as it looked like Tavares had turned to be able to play the puck back to the point or look for somebody. As TJ Brody threw it up the left wing boards, Tavares came in, spun, had his back to the play, then turned and quickly fired it from the left wing faceoff dot. over the right shoulder of the goaltender Tarasov, and the Leafs have regained their 1-goal lead.
10th goal of the season. He last scored in the win against Pittsburgh. And the Maple Leafs have the 2-1 lead. Pass that was just out of the reach of Jake McCabe, who tried to corral it with a skate. Played to the line. Leafs keep the puck in. Left wing side now. Here's Matthews trying to find Marner. Marner against the boards. Back to Matthews. Matthews still with it to Marner. Coming off the wall. Goes to the front of the net, but couldn't get by the defense of Provorov to get in front. Now a pass in front of the goal. And unable to get a shot away was McCabe, but Matthews is onto the puck again. Round back into the corner for Marner. Marner to Matthews in front. Can't shoot it. Still has it, though, but it rolled off his stick. And it is brought to center ice by Chinnikov. He's going to circle back into the Columbus zone to get a change started. Oh, and Matthews is so good at stealing the puck again, isn't he? That quick stick brought in now by the Columbus Blue Jackets. They work it to the near boards for Werenski. He drops it back to the blue line. Walking the line with it is Sillinger. One hands it, but it is poked out at center by Toronto.
Boy, how important was that call to make it 4-on-4? And really, the Leafs should have been shorthanded.
Johnson to center. In on the right side. That was a close play at the blue line with Bemstrom coming in. Oh, and he shot it. I don't know if Jones got a piece of that, but it was an emergency move by the Leaf netminder, and it went over top of the goal at the end of the play. Leafs come up with it again, and one-handed out at center ice. Noah Gregor will force things back into the zone, then stole the puck. Tried to center. He does. David Camp sends it in front. Oh, and McMahon had his stick lifted and couldn't get a nice little feed in front of the net from Camp to go. Now Camp again in over the line. Finds his man on a centering pass then by Lagesson. Didn't work. Blue Jackets come back at center. Johnson in across the line. Poke to the blue line. Knocked down on the play. Benoit. Another shot. Whistles over top of the Leaf goal. Trying to work the far boards. Tavares trying to tie his man up as it comes back to the point. They walk the line with it. Still now trying to play it down into the corner. Backhanded in around the boards by Gudbranson. And now back of the net. Texier trying to come out with it. Back to the point. Gudbranson to his defense partner on the far side. Peak gets another crack at it, but he fanned on the shot completely. And the puck comes back into the Toronto zone, but not out. Kept alive now by Marchenko. His shot is off his stick and wide of the goal. Jones looking to find it, and the Leafs do get it out at center ice. 2-1 Toronto. Brought out now by Fantilli. Adam Fantilli gets to the Leaf blue line, but no further. And it's pushed back into Columbus territory, and the Leafs are changing. So are the Blue Jackets. Provorov comes to the red line. Bounced it off a player into the Toronto zone. Chipped back by Brody. Bertuzzi is able to get it out. Blue Jackets reorganize. Fantilli gets it back in over the line, but off a stick, and the Leafs have it once more. Bertuzzi at center. Trying to backhand it in over the line, and does. Down into the corner goes Matthews, and a penalty coming here.
They're going to call it, I believe it was Werenski that latched on to Auston Matthews. But if you're the Blue Jackets, you're kind of incensed at the turn of events here. Pardon me, it wasn't Werenski, it was Fantilli. So he's been nailed twice. I don't know. Is this a hazing ritual for rookies? Well, the crowd in Columbus doesn't like it. I mean, Auston Matthews engages with Fantilli first, and they've kind of lock arms.
6:33 the time of the penalty, and the Maple Leafs go to the first power play of the game. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Bet3. What's up, Leafs fans? Another awesome night here on TSI. Thank you to each and every one of you for hanging out with us. Please don't forget to hit that like button, as it helps bring more Leafs fans into the chat. The more the better. A big shout out to our insiders and VIP members. Your support is truly appreciated. I cannot explain to you what it means for this community. Please consider joining our community. It's only 99 cents a month. I made it as low as possible so that we can get more and more people joining our community. Awesome member exclusive emojis in the chat during these Leafs games, and add your name to the scroll down below. Anyways, enough of the necessary evils to keep growing this amazing Toronto sports community and Maple Leafs community. Back to Leafs hockey. Go Leafs go. I'll see you guys in the chat. Peace.
Room windows. Or my favorite usage. I am going to unhibernate this winter by visiting my local Subaru dealer today. Welcome to Uncommon Winter Confidence.
From the biggest stadiums to the coziest holes in the wall. From house parties to porch hangs to pride celebrations. From your favorite fuzz shop to your local Indian spot. From noodle bars to sports bars to salsa bars. There's a Molson with your name on it. Canadian Ultra XL. Molson. Everyone in. Must be legal drinking age.
You're listening to Toronto Maple Leafs hockey.
The cross in front, they score!
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Leafs Radio Network.
Just to confirm, according to Bally Sports in Columbus, the paramedic response for Sean Corrali was precautionary and he is going to be okay. No explanation as to what his issue was, but that is good news. First power play of the game. Here's Sillinger bringing it into the Leafs zone from a sharp angle. A shot was stopped by Jones, and the Leafs will organize. Played out at center ice, brought on now by Matthews to the line, flipped it in on the left wing. Tavares trying to swing it back, gets it to the blue line to Riley, back along the boards. Nylander with it, and Marner getting it back to the point. Riley far side, and Marner's slap shot went wide of the net, but it's trapped at the near side by Nylander. Nylander holds, drops it back for Matthews. Matthews with a wrist shot blockered away by the goaltender, but the rebound controlled by Toronto. Tavares far side. Riley holds, lurks to the half boards, down low to Marner. Marner back, it goes to Riley. Now Nylander circles over to that far side, but it comes to Matthews. Down low, coming out is Tavares. Shot stopped, good save made there by the goaltender Tarasov. Leafs have it again. Cross ice, Marner with a shot, and that deflected wide. Another retrieval by Matthews. Down low again, Tavares holding. Tavares works out of the corner. Still with it, gonna leave it for Morgan Riley. Riley goes down into the corner, around back of the net, far side for Marner. To the point for Nylander. Back to Marner. Marner across ice. Pass! A shot scores! Again, it is Auston Matthews. And once again, a multi-goal game for number 34. And the Leafs have a 3-1 lead.
10th multi-goal game of the season for Auston Matthews, and has now scored 4 of the last 5 Leaf goals against Columbus. And the Blue Jackets and the fans wanted another call. John Tavares took down Ivan Provorov, and the Leafs were able to keep the puck and eventually work it around Auston Matthews. Mitch Marner with a great setup. Willie Nylander's going to pick up a secondary assist on this as well. But this is the left wing dot to the right wing dot, and the one-timer by Auston Matthews has the Leafs up 3-1. Now remember, Matthews scored 2 late ones against Columbus to tie it 5-5 when
with 6 attackers on the ice. Yes. So the Leafs with a 3-1 lead. Willie Nylander 11-game point streak has gotten to 17 points. And we have a whistle here.
And even for John Tavares, it's only his 3rd goal now in the last 15 games, so important to get him going. As Sheldon Keefe has juggled up the top 6, and guess what? It's working.
And who is starting to look a little bit like Kucherov from that side of the rink?
Yeah, not quite the same release.
But it gets there, doesn't it? Columbus keeping the puck down into the Toronto zone. Now down a pair. Round back of the net for Gaudreau. Gaudreau tries to come out in front. Taken to the boards by Liljegren. But he's able to come out of the corner with it. Now engaged and then loses it. And Noah Gregor gets it out at center ice. McMahon had to go off a body and brought back in by Danforth. Gaudreau sends it off on the wing, and a shot whistled high off the skate of Liljegren and went wide. And a penalty coming to Toronto for holding. And it'll be Bobby McMahon going to the box.
May not be the greatest one, but the Leafs had lived a charmed life up to this point. 10:46 to go in the second period. As Bobby McMahon is going to be a holding penalty. As he lets go, as soon as you let go of the stick and give that reach, and it was just on the left hip of Johnny Gaudreau, but that was enough to draw the penalty. And I'm sure Columbus is saying, where were the other 4 calls that were more serious than that one? But now a great chance for Columbus on their first power play of the night. They're 7 for 21 in their last 10.
Overall, 15 of 94, 25th in the league, 16.6%. And a pass by Gaudreau goes off a skate, and Karam's to center ice. Blue Jackets back in the defensive zone. Gaudreau starting out, comes through neutral ice and in. Left wing feed for Voronkov onto the far wing and around back of the net. Stolen by Toronto. Fed to the line. Oh, I don't know about this. It was knocked down by Werenski. I think that was out, but it's played on. Werenski walks the line. Off on the wing, it goes to the far side. Down low, partially blocked. Shot stopped by Jones. And that will all go for naught with the smothering. Voronkov into the pushing and shoving for the Blue Jackets in front of the net. I thought that was offside.
I mean,
I'm becoming Mr. Bean.
You're talking about Jordan Bean, the video coach.
Well, no, probably more than Mr. Bean.
Yeah, maybe more Mr. Bean than Jordan. Because you're right. Zach Werenski made a great play to knock it down in midair, but it did look like it was on the Columbus side of the blue line when he came down.
Now the Blue Jackets win the draw. A shot into the chest of Jones, smothered by the Leaf netminder off the stick of Johnny Gaudreau. Blue Jackets with a minute 18 on the power play. Sorry, Rocky.
I think Gaudreau came into the game. Now he's extended that point streak with the assist. To a 5-game point streak. 2 goals, 7 points.
Good draw, won by Columbus again. Gaudreau with a shot. That went off a leg to the far side. Kept alive, and a pass across, and the one-timer taken there by Marchenko went off the side of the net. Blue Jackets maintain possession. Back to the point it goes. Werenski walks the line to Gaudreau on the left wing half boards. Down into the corner. Bank back to the defenseman. Werenski fans on the shot completely, but is able to keep it in. Centering pass goes wide and far side. Trapped over there by Chinakhov. He loses it. Leafs trying to get to the loose puck, but again, Werenski's able to keep it in. Werenski on the left wing, a shot. And that went off, I believe, Brody's stick and has caromed up into the screen and out of play with 40 seconds left in the first power play opportunity for the Columbus Blue Jackets.
Voronkov was in front, providing the screen as well. I don't think Martin Jones ever picked this up. As Brody was providing more of a screen on one side, Voronkov on the other.
In the game against Columbus in Toronto, the Blue Jackets were 1 for 2 on the power play.
By the way, Marchenko's numbers in the National Hockey League, if they were wins and losses for pitchers in baseball, he'd be a Cy Young shoe-in every year. 13 goals, 8 assists this year.
Nice. Pass intercepted by Toronto, but not cleared. Comes back to the blue line. 15 seconds in the period in the penalty. Provorov walks the line, gets it off on the right wing side, top of the circle. Pass intercepted by Marner. He's going to skate it out at center. He's going to get down into the zone and then just roll it around back of the net. Went in there hunting for it, but the penalty is expired, and the Leafs are back at full strength. And unable to get into the zone cleanly was Kent Johnson. Now he'll shoot it in, and the Maple Leafs have it in the center ice area.
By the way, Marchenko's numbers last year, his rookie year, 21 goals, 4 assists. Well, 34 and 12.
Blue Jay pitching staff could use those numbers, couldn't they? Now here are the Blue Jackets around back of the net into the near corner. Texier gets it back to the point. Swept back in by Gudbranson. Down along the end boards for Brendan Gaunce. The Sudbury native couldn't get it back. It comes back to the point. Gudbranson tries to send it back into the corner, and the Leafs still don't get it out as it's launched high into the far boards. In go the Blue Jackets with it again. Trying to come out with it. Chinakhov, a shot stopped by Martin Jones. Couldn't get to the rebound, and then a backhand by Morgan Riley doesn't clear, and then Willie Nylander steals it away from Sillinger, who had kept it in. And then it's offside at the blue line as Tavares let a shot go as the whistle sounded.
I know Willie Nylander, hasn't really received the accolades of late that he did earlier in the season, but now on 11-game point streak and 17 points in the last 11 games. But I think we're starting to see that the steal and turn it back the other way that was so prevalent in the first 15 games of the season.
3-1 Toronto. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590, The Fan, and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
A blessed Advent, everybody. I'm Cardinal Timothy Dolan here in New York, inviting you to join me, along with Sirius XM's The Catholic Channel, for a very special Christmas celebration. We'll bring you masses from all over the world, like Midnight Mass from Rome, celebrated by His Holiness Pope Francis on Christmas Eve. We'll also cover masses from Washington, D.C., Los Angeles, and even our beloved St. Patrick's Cathedral here in New York City. Why not celebrate Christmas with all of us here at The Catholic Channel, Sirius XM 129.
24/7 Hockey Talk.
One of the greatest goaltenders of all time. Patrick Waugh, when you put your hands up, did you know at that moment that you were done?
No, I did not. Unfortunately, it happened. Just gave me a chance to have a fresh start somewhere else and be traded to Colorado was a good opportunity. Sometimes you need that little, change, and it was welcome for me.
Sirius XM, NHL Network Radio. Sirius XM 91. And on your schedule with the Sirius XM app. The Point with Boomer Gordon.
18 months ago, I had new Flyers head coach John Tortorella. And I asked him what he was worried about the club, and he said, I don't like the room. We have a bad room. And I'm like, you haven't even coached this team yet. A year and a half later, John Tortorella loves his room. He loves this team, and he loves that they compete every night.
Point with Boomer Gordon.
What's up, Leafs fans? Another awesome night here on TSI. Thank you to each and every one of you for hanging out with us. Please don't forget to hit that like button as it helps bring more Leafs fans into the chat. The more the better. A big shout out to our insiders and VIP members. Your support is truly appreciated. I cannot explain to you what it means for this community. Please consider joining our community. It's only 99 cents a month. I made it as low as possible so that we can get more and more people joining our community. Awesome member exclusive emojis in the chat during these Leafs games, and add your name to the scroll down below. Anyways, enough of the necessary evils to keep growing this amazing Toronto sports
Now
community.
here's a chance for Yarncrook, and his shot went wide as he was lifted off his skates at the end. Comes around the boards to him and now back of the goal. Yarncrook coming out with it back to the point, a shot, and that deflected wide of the Columbus goal. Domi trying to play it back to the point, pinching down the boards was the Leaf defenseman McCabe, and then it went off him and over the glass and out of play. So a face-off with exactly 7 minutes to go in the second period. Toronto 3 with 20 shots on goal. Columbus 1 with 19 shots on goal.
The goal for the power play goal for Matthews, his 8th power play marker this season. Ties him with Ryan O'Reilly and Nikita Kucherov for second. Three-way tie for first with Ross Besser, Sam Reinhart, and Valerie Nichushkin of Colorado, all with 9.
I can imagine Ryan O'Reilly having that kind of an impact on the power play, but he certainly has in Nashville, hasn't he?
Go to the net.
Yeah. Voronkov leaving it at the boards and gets a return pass up on the right wing. Stick handles his way to center. Got it over on the left wing and down the boards it comes. Chinakhov couldn't get a shot at the net. Now taken to the wall. Leafs have bodies there, and it's pushed out at center ice for Nyes. Knuckles Nyes gets it down in around back of the net. Brought back by Columbus. Played off a body to center. In over the line comes Provorov. Far side, a backhand goes off the stick wide of the net. And the Maple Leafs with it in their own zone now, trying to make a play with it. And it's dumped out at center ice to Matthews. Matthews turns back, being pressured there by Kent Johnson. Now to Brody. Brody's pass off a stick down into Columbus territory. Severson tried to get it out, and he does on the left wing, and Johnson is going to send a diagonal shoot it into the left wing corner. Bouncing puck comes back of the net. Tavares launches it on the backhand to center. Bertuzzi will backhand it again deeper into Columbus territory. Quickly brought by Cole Sillinger back at center ice and played into the Toronto zone. Sillinger wears number 4 and is a forward, and thought about that for a while as the puck goes out of play. Jean Béliveau, of course, was the most famous number 4 forward I think that we can conjure up.
Vinny Lecavalier would be
in the
mix
speaking
as well, but I mean there just really haven't been that many. We got a penalty here. The Leafs delayed the game here. Tyler Bertuzzi launched it from inside the Leaf blue line, tried to go cross ice.
I think you're right. So the Leafs will be a man short when we return. They lead 3-1. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
At Bet365, we don't do ordinary. That's why we've introduced Same Game Parlay Plus. It's a game changer. Making a same game parlay across different games has never been easier, because the biggest games and most popular markets are now all in one place. Check out Same Game Parlay Plus and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 19 or older. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has concerns about gambling, visit connectsontario.ca.
Hi, it's Catherine from Great Canadian Meat. Shopping stress? I get it. Dad wants
a motorcycle.
And Mom wants
a 4x4, please.
But if you get them what they want, it won't be a surprise. So get them the next best thing. Great Canadian Meat.
Did you get my text? I want a trip to the Bahamas.
As if. Our sweet heat beef jerky is hotter than any beach in the Bahamas. And the guy she hopes to meet there. Keep it real. Get them Great Canadian Meat from our store in Whitby or greatcanadianmeat.com.
There are many peculiar words in the English language. Words like salivigant, peregrinate, nemophilus, peripatetic, and conviviality. Yet, there is no word for getting the most out of winter in your Subaru, thanks to symmetrical full-time all-wheel drive and X-Mode. Until now. We call it unhibernate, as in while your neighbors stay home, you'll be unhibernating all winter in your Subaru. So peregrinate to your local Subaru dealer today, and welcome to Uncommon Winter Confidence.
You're listening to Toronto Maple Leafs hockey.
What a brilliant move by Willie Nylander, and we have a tie game.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Leafs Radio Network.
Bertuzzi for delay of game at 14:34. Auston Matthews in his last 7 games, 9 goals, 3 assists, 12 points. Here's Werenski getting it off over on the right wing side. Looks for a return pass and gets it. Now looking for Gaudreau, but goes back into the far corner. Played back along the boards by Voronkov. He'll get it again in the far half boards. Back it goes to Werenski. He closes off on the left wing. Gaudreau doesn't shoot it. Sends it across ice once more. Trying to work it back to Werenski, and they do. Now to Gaudreau. Gaudreau winds and shoots. That went off the leg and blocked there by Brody. And Gaudreau is able to keep it in. Now in front of the net, Voronkov is there as it comes to the near wing for Marchenko. Marchenko back to the point, Werenski. Works it back, still has it. Down into the corner, centering pass, bounces over on the far side. Gaudreau getting the drop pass at the far point, now works down into the corner, works around back of the goal, still with it. Marchenko is there, but the Leafs get a stick in the way and have deflected it out at center ice. Now Gaudreau will try it again. Got in over the line, lost the puck once more. Look out, it's wired at the linesman and just missed him. And down the ice it goes, courtesy P.J. Brody. Werenski dropping it back. 38 seconds left in the penalty. Johnson gets to the line, stolen there by the Maple Leafs, and it is punched down into the zone on a good play made by Noah Gregor. He forces it deeper into Columbus territory.
Well, shots on goal, 14 apiece in the first, so just 5-5 here late in the second.
Van Tilly can't get in over the line. Again, the Leafs have played it off the glass and down the ice, and now just a dozen seconds remain in the penalty as the Blue Jackets start out with it. Provorov dropping it back. Carried through neutral ice by Johnson and into the zone. Played into the corner, stolen by the Leafs again, but they can't clear initially. They get it to Matthews. Matthews to Nylander, who will outfight his man and backhand it down as Bertuzzi has escaped the penalty box without any damage done. 3-1 Toronto here in the second with 3:14 left to play in the period. Quickly in is Tavares. Works down around back of the net, shielding his man, pulls the brakes on. Tried to get Bertuzzi a pass as it comes back along the boards. Tavares jams his man. Dug it free for Bertuzzi. Bertuzzi tries to center. Too much traffic, though. And now the Blue Jackets with Severson will get it out at center. One man back, a one-on-one rush with Cole Sillinger. Trying to get it in front. Bounces back into the area back of the Leaf goal. And the Leafs are just going to get it airmailed high to center ice. Tavares will force it deep. Gabranson finds his defense partner, and it's played out and down into the Leaf end. No icing. Cleared there by Jones. Coolly played into the corner. And the Maple Leafs now with a pass that is knocked out of the air on a good play by Texier. Texier back in, and the pass intended for Brendan Gaunce bounced over his stick as he was trying to take it from forehand to a backhand shot. Lagesson for Toronto. Kicks it free. Gets a little skating room to his liking. Gets it out at center. Leafs are going to get it in over the line for Domi. Left wing side. Tried to go to the front of the net, and it was knocked wide of the goal. Leafs are able to keep it in at the blue line then by McCabe. Domi unable to come up with it. Neither could Robertson. And now a pass out at center ice will spring Zach Werenski, who brings it in over the line. He drops for Texier. Played back for Werenski into the corner, but it's well out of his reach. And played by Benoit and out and down into the Columbus zone. Minute and a half to go in the second period. Played in on the right side and into the corner. Benoit trying to pin it up against the wall. Had it knocked free. Centering pass comes back to the point. Long shot in traffic. Blocked there by Nyes. Cleared out and down the ice by Toronto. And an icing call will come here against the Maple Leafs with 1 minute and 17 seconds left to go in the second period. Boy, it looked like a high stick there from Texier knocking the puck down at the blue line, didn't it?
He might have been able to review that. It happened in the Leaf zone, but then he picked it up at center. So it might have been an interesting ruling that Columbus been able to score on it, but great hand-eye coordination.
Long shot knocked away before it reached the Toronto goal. And now McCabe pounds it off the boards to the blue line and in. Nyes was up there hoping for a loose puck to develop. And now the Blue Jackets will play it ahead and send it high down into the Toronto end. Liljegren back of the net with less than a minute to go in the period. Nice spinning move to elude the forechecking of Cole Sillinger. Played it down into the Blue Jackets end of the rink. Provorov will get it up on the left wing. His defense partner Werenski carries to the line and in. Drops for Sillinger. Working in with a shot that went wide, and it is going to carry him all the way back down into Columbus territory with 28 seconds left to go in the period. You're right. Shots were 14 apiece in the first period. They've had 5 each in the second.
28 shots, 1 goal, 10 shots, 3 goals. It's kind of been the way the Leafs season has gone, isn't it?
Yep.
At both ends.
And around back of the net. 7 seconds left. Brody taking his time coming out. Long lead pass deflects into Columbus territory, and time will expire. So the Maple Leafs score back-to-back goals after Danforth had tied the game, and Auston Matthews has a pair on the night for the 10th time multi-goal game for Auston Matthews, 27 and 28. And Willie Nylander's streak continues, but wraps it up.
Yeah, and then very quietly, the second part of the streak, Willie Nylander has scored a point in 27 of the 30 games that the Leafs have played this season. The 3 games he didn't score in were all in a row. It started with an overtime loss in Chicago.
5 shots apiece in the second period, but the Leafs score on 2 of theirs. And at the end of 40 minutes, it's the Leafs 3 and the Columbus Blue Jackets 1. Ailish Forfar and Justin Cuthbert coming your way. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590, The Fan, and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Dashing through the field on Channel 88. Catch the Sunday Drive Playoffs on the way.
This is Steve Torrey. Join Bill Leckus and me for a Christmas Eve edition of the Sunday Drive at noon Eastern. Touchdown! For live listen-ins, guests, and fantasy analysis around the NFL. Then catch a Christmas Day triple header between the Raiders, Chiefs, Giants and Eagles, Ravens, and 49ers on NFL Radio Channel 88 and the Sirius XM app.
24/7 hockey talk.
One of the greatest goaltenders of all time, Patrick Waugh. When you put your hands up, did you know at that moment that you were done?
No, I did not. Unfortunately, it happened. Just gave me a chance to have a fresh start somewhere else and be traded to Colorado. It was a good opportunity. Sometimes you need that little, change, and it was welcome for me.
Sirius XM, NHL Network Radio. Sirius XM 91. And on your schedule with the Sirius XM app. The Point with Boomer Gordon.
18 months ago, I had new Flyers head coach John Tortorella. And I asked him what he was worried about the club, and he said, I don't like the room. We have a bad room. And I'm like, you haven't even coached this team yet. A year and a half later, John Tortorella loves his room. He loves this team, and he loves that they compete every night.
Point with Boomer Gordon. 1 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio. Sirius XM 91 and the Sirius XM app. The best player analysts and insiders live on NHL Network Radio. Mike Johnson.
5-on-5 defensive game for Tampa is getting to the point, Gord, where it is a concern. And it's not just because Vasilevsky hasn't played the entire season. They're giving up almost 4 goals a game. No matter how good your offense is, that's not going to be able to be sustainable.
Get the latest opinion and analysis you need on the home of hockey, NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app. The Power Play with Steve Koulias.
It's between the Ken Hitchcock dots. And the Sens are too loosey-goosey there. They talk the talk, but they don't walk the walk. Ottawa's not like that. And until that part really improves, I don't believe they'll be a playoff team. They'll wow you. They'll wow the fans. They'll win or lose 5-4. But right now, they're middling right now. They're a middling hockey club.
The Power Play, weekdays 3 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91 and the Sirius XM app. Under review.
And if someone says, well, he's good in the room, you know what? They don't have a good in the room stat in the standings. I've yet to find that category. It's one of the most overplayed things. They better be good in the room. That's the least you better bring when you join a National Hockey League team.
Under review with Mick Kerr, 11 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91 and the Sirius XM app.
Hey Toronto, I'm David Morsuti, host of the daily Toronto Maple Leafs podcast, Locked On Leafs, part of the Locked On Podcast Network on the Sirius XM app. Every weekday, we bring you the latest Leafs news and analysis, break down all the action, including this game you're listening to right now, and preview the next one. We're giving you everything a Leafs fan could want, all in a daily 30-minute podcast. Download Locked On Leafs right now on the Sirius XM app, available with all trials and popular plans, or where you get your podcasts. Search Locked On Leafs.
Hi, this is Ray Hudson, and for all the biggest matches from club soccer's holy grail, the UEFA Champions League, tune in to Sirius XM FC 157.
Leafs Radio Network.
Welcome back to Molson Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network. Ailish Schwarfauer and Justin Cuthbert here for your intermissions, and it is 3-1 Maple Leafs after 40 minutes in Columbus. I'm kind of running out of ways to tell you how good Auston Matthews is at hockey. He pots another 2-goal game. He's got 2 or more goals in 6 of the last 9 games that he's played. Now on pace for 76 goals. He was our player to watch. I do recall giving you listeners a prop of plus money for 2 or more goals. And you might as well just think that a hat trick might be around the corner because he is just putting the puck in the net undeniably.
You say you're running out of ways, but you actually had a lot to offer there. Like when you're way out ahead, when you're doing things like Auston Matthews is doing, it's like, yeah, are there any comparisons anymore? But there are. You can just dig deep and figure out a way to further contextualize how good he's been. I almost think people are sleeping on this season to a certain extent. I mean, he's not top 5 in the odds boards, or most odds boards at least, to win the Hart Trophy.
I double checked to see if it had changed since we went on the show. Yeah. He's still 6th Best odds, plus 900 to win the Hart.
Okay, and if you're flirting with 80 goals, if you're basically scoring on average per game, you're definitely in that conversation.
Crazy.
He's on an unbelievable roll. That was a beautiful finish on the power play. Had some competition for the best goal of the period with John Tavares there. But yeah, Auston Matthews, otherworldly. They're going to be having nightmares about him in Columbus.
That John Tavares goal, though, was really pretty. He danced around, I don't know, 2 or 3 Columbus Blue Jackets.
Just pirouetting through defenders.
And then he's like, I'm just going to rip one. I think it was almost barred down. It was top shelf, nonetheless. And then he just puts his arm up and just, nonchalant, just scored a beauty. And then Auston Matthews does it too.
And that came at a good time because the Columbus Blue Jackets, after the second period officially started, did equalize the game very, very quickly. Justin Danforth scoring on a breakaway, hit 34 miles per hour, I think, officially on the clock. He was absolutely shot out of a cannon and then made the cannon fire in Columbus. The Leafs needed that goal and they needed that insurance marker. And now it feels like it's a comfortable advantage going into the third. But I will say the Maple Leafs, not lucky to get more out of the period than the Columbus Blue Jackets did, but only 5 attempts at goal at 5-on-5 in the period, only 11 overall in the period for the Maple Leafs. I mean, they got about 34% of the possession in the second period combined and had some power play time as well there. So it wasn't a brilliant period from a output standpoint, but 2 unbelievable individual efforts from the star players that need to make the difference for the Maple Leafs have them comfortably ahead.
Not to be forgotten is William Nylander, who has another great little run here. He's got at least a point in 28 of the last 31 games, including 2-point streaks of at least 11 games or more before Christmas. Very much the pinnacle of consistency. Even though we talk a lot about Auston Matthews, it has been quietly even William Nylander's show. He came out kind of as the main talking point, of course, with this Maple Leafs season, and then he went to Sweden and had that prolific trip, and he's got the talk show here and the TV commercial when he got home, but it has kind of shifted to Auston Matthews being the guy that's front runner for the Rocket and is being the leader of this team in terms of goal scoring. But William Nylander has been very consistent contributor, and so deserves a little bit of commentary as well.
Yeah, it says something about Auston Matthews, that a guy who can be on the score sheet pretty much every single night. I mean, we're talking 95% of nights William Nylander is finding a way to help the Maple Leafs score a goal. It is clear now the pecking order. Auston Matthews is the Hart Trophy candidate from the Maple Leafs. He's the number 1 option. He's the guy. This is his team, even though William Nylander had his run of things for a couple months there.
So we'll take a quick break, and on the other side, we'll take a look at the out-of-town scoreboard and a couple quick thoughts before we send it to the third period. You're listening to Molson Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
NHL All-Star Thursday is coming to Toronto with 3 exciting events in one star-filled night. First, celebrity captains select their teams in the Tim Hortons NHL All-Star Player Draft. Then, the 1967 Stanley Cup champion Maple Leafs are honored in the NHL Alumni Man of the Year. And finally, the best in women's hockey compete in the Canadian Tire PWHL 3-on-3 Showcase. It's NHL All-Star Thursday on February 1st. Buy tickets now starting at $44 at NHL.com/Thursday.
Every year, fans debate over the draft. Who's going first? At Chuck's, they already know. The top draft choice is that icy cold 18-ounce Molson Canadian you're holding, and it's just $4 at Chuck's during Leafs games. No wonder that at draft time, Canadians are always in high demand. Chuck's Roadhouse Bar and Grill. Food the way it ought to be. Price the way it used to be.
Game Parlay Plus. It's a game changer. Making a same-game parlay across different games has never been easier because the biggest games and most popular markets are now all in one place. Check out Same Game Parlay Plus and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 19 or older. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has concerns about gambling, visit connectsontario.ca.
in a truck, .ca. So when you gotta move, all moving day. Think 2 in a truck, .ca. Cause all of us movers are not the same. So that's our company name, 2 men in a truck.ca. We're lots of men with lots of trucks, so give us a call today.
Hi, it's Catherine from Great Canadian Meat. What makes a great gift? Well, I think we can all agree that a gift that's homemade is a great gift. A gift that's the same shape as a stocking, that's important. A gift they can eat? Definitely. And if they like to share, a gift you can eat too. Well, that settles it. Our Great Canadian Meat salami and pepperoni sticks are the perfect gift and a perfect addition to your charcuterie board. Pick up Great Canadian Meat at our store in Whitby or online at greatcanadianmeat.com.
Move up to Heathwood. Hi, I'm Hugh Herron. Experience true luxury at Williamsburg Green in Kitchener. Williamsburg Green is everything you want in a community. Enjoy fabulous trails, parks, playgrounds, sports areas, and more. Our beautiful all-brick homes include luxury features you've always dreamed of, even a fully finished lower level. It's time to move up to Heathwood. Learn more at heathwood.com.
You're listening to Toronto Maple Leafs hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Leafs Radio Network.
Welcome back to Molson Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network. Ailish Forfar and Justin Cuthbert here for your intermissions. Leafs lead 3-1 after 2 periods in Columbus. And if you are feeling like deja vu, they did play Columbus a couple days ago and they will play Columbus in 6 days. So they've played them a lot and it's not over, but we're getting close to the end of the Columbus journey.
We're more than halfway through. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, this is the more than halfway mark, everyone.
Just one more note on the first 40 minutes so far. We're talking a lot about the reunion, I guess would be the proper word, of Tyler Bertuzzi, John Tavares, and William Nylander. William Nylander does have a point to extend more streaks and more consistency. John Tavares, we talked about that goal in the first segment of this intermission. Of course, Tyler Bertuzzi on that line as well. They have been so good together before they're broken up. Well, the rust is showing just a little bit. They've done absolutely nothing at 5-on-5 together. Oof. Just getting carved right now through 5 minutes. 0 shots combined at 5-on-5 between the three. So the second line will have to get things going if, not to say that you'd split up Marner and Matthews anytime soon. But if we're going to be talking about them being as good as they were, if we're going to talk about having a lot of encouragement and positivity about those three being together, they're going to have to start doing something at 5-on-5.
20 minutes left to prove, to say, you know what, Justin, I heard your thoughts on the intermission show.
They've got time.
And I'm going to...
And 4 periods versus Columbus in the next week.
That's true. Let's take a look at the NHL scoreboard presented by Bet365. Visit the app for the latest odds and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 19 plus. Ontario only. Play responsibly.
The finals remain final. The Stars beat the Predators this afternoon 3-2, and the Panthers beat the Golden Knights 4-2. The Red Wings are up 2-1 on the Devils through 2. The Wild have a 2-0 or 2-1 lead, on the Bruins through 2 periods. It's 1-1 between the Capitals and Lightning through 2. Also through 2. The Senators have a 4-2 lead over the Pittsburgh Penguins. It is 3-2. The Rangers are leading those Sabres. The Islanders have a 3-2 lead over the Hurricanes. The Blackhawks have a 2-1 lead over the Blues, and Connor Bedard scored with a Michigan spin.
Oh my God, it's so good. Go look it up online.
So yeah, definitely go check that out. And end of 1, the Kraken hold a 2-0 lead over the Ducks. Still to come, Avalanche host the Coyotes, Canucks host the Sharks, and the Kings will play host to the Calgary Flames.
Saturdays are tough for that segment, and I appreciate your efforts.
Tough or just thorough?
There's a lot of games on, lots of games. And we got 20 minutes left in this one. Leafs lead 3-1 against the Columbus Blue Jackets. Joe Bowen and Jim Ralph will have the call of the third period next. You're listening to Molson Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
On Christmas Day, SiriusXM NBA Radio decks the halls with basketballs. 5 games.
Giannis to the rim for the slam.
The biggest stars.
LeBron on a full speed end-to-end thunder dunk.
All day long.
Luka hits another 3.
The ultimate stocking stuffer for NBA fans.
Jammed it. Joel Embiid.
The action starts at noon Eastern on NBA Radio, Channel 86, and the SiriusXM app.
The best player analysts and insiders live on NHL Network Radio. Mike Johnson.
5-on-5 defensive game for Tampa is getting to the point, Gord, where it is a concern. And it's not just because Vasilevsky hasn't played the entire season. They're giving up almost 4 goals a game. No matter how good your offense is, that's not going to be able to be sustainable.
Get the latest opinion and analysis you need on the home of hockey, NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app. The Power Play with Steve Koulias.
It's between the Ken Hitchcock dots. And the Sens are too loosey-goosey there. They talk the talk, but they don't walk the walk. Ottawa's not like that. And until that part really improves, I don't believe they'll be a playoff team. They'll wow you. They'll wow the fans. They'll win or lose 5-4. But right now, they're middling right now. They're a middling hockey club.
The Power Play, weekdays 3 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app.
If you're a soccer fan, you know that this music means one thing. The Champions League is on Sirius XM FC.
Hat-trick for Erling Haaland. Kane scores!
The top teams from around Europe are battling for club soccer's holy grail.
Real Madrid do what they do best. What a start for Inter!
Hear all the top Champions League matches all tournament long on Sirius XM FC 157 and streaming on the Sirius XM app.
The biggest names in the game.
Trying to get behind Ristolainen. Walks in. Put it between his legs. Shoots it. Score!
NHL play-by-play on Sirius XM.
Leafs Radio Network.
Leafs carry a 3-1 lead into the third period. You know, and just Dave Stubbs in Montreal does a lot of historical stuff, and he reminded us that Johnny Bauer passed 6 years ago. On December the 26th will be the anniversary of that. But I remember, of course, because I'm older than you, that Johnny Bauer drove the Beatles out of the number 1 spot on the charts, the Chum charts, with Honky Honky the Christmas Goose. And trust me, there was never a worse singer in the world that managed to drive the Beatles out of the number 1 spot.
So Johnny didn't surpass them in ticket sales at concerts then?
No, he did not. No, he did not.
Hey, by the way, that's thanks to Armin. When you go back since the 93-94 season, the most goals in the first 30 games played in a season. Cam Neely in 93-94 had 34 in the first 30 games. Mario Lemieux and Jaromir Jagr each had 30. Lemieux in 95-96, Jagr in 96-97, and Auston Matthews is next at 28. I mean, you're going back to a different era.
And
when
different
Jagr,
size
Lemieux,
goaltenders, everything. Yeah,
Cam
you're
Neely.
right.
By the way, Cam Neely that year, Joe, missed a lot of time with injuries. Only played 19 more games the rest of that year, but scored 50 goals in 49 games.
Wow. Laid down.
I'm not sure if that was the Ulf Samuelsson injury.
Played out at center ice and sent into the Toronto zone. They defend the goal to our right as it is brought up on the far boards, and Bertuzzi skates it out at center with a left wing feed for Nylander, who just chips it in. McCabe was up there looking for a loose puck, but now has been trapped, and now here are the Blue Jackets back in over the line, but Gaudreau slows things up by spinning it back behind the net. It goes off his stick, but not out. Trapped and kept in at the blue line by Severson. Now back to the blue line once more. Off onto the right wing side. Gaudreau doesn't shoot it. Sends it back to the point once more to Werenski. Werenski sends it towards the net. That was stopped by Morgan Riley, who comes up limping, and he is trying to get to the bench. Let's hope that that's not anything serious.
It wasn't a bullet, but I think caught him just right on the wrong spot.
Blue Jackets back in their own zone. Drop pass by Marchenko. They'll take their time coming out. Finally, a pass by Gudbranson gets down in on the left wing. Down into the corner goes Marchenko. He tried to get it in front. The Leafs tried to play it up the middle, but it was intercepted. Chinnikov works back into the corner. Marchenko gets it back to the point. Near side, trying to get a shot away here is Severson, and it's deflected down into the corner. Voronkov for the Blue Jackets. Got some assistance, and it's punched in by Marchenko. Back of the neck. Around the boards near side. Chinakhov. He had it come back to the point. Marner trying to get in the way. Then a shot is blocked, and the Leafs, Matthews gets it out. He leads the Leafs in blocked shots as far as the forwards are concerned. He came into the game with 37, just blocked another, then got a wrist shot away, and that was blocked by Nyes, I think, in front of the net. Matthews with it once more. Trying to chip it back, and Nyes got a quick shot away, but it went over top of the net. Lagesson keeping it alive for Toronto. Knocked down on the play. Scoops it around back of the net, though. And now trying to work out is Damon Severson, who will get it off the boards and into neutral ice.
I mentioned a little earlier Jake McCabe jumping up into the play and getting caught, and I think that's a concern. You got a 2-goal lead in the third period.
Noah Gregor in with a shot. That was well wide of the net. Karam's all the way to center ice. Good news, Morgan Riley is back into the fray after blocking that shot and limping to the bench. The veteran from BC launches it high down into the offensive zone. Grabbed there by McMahon. Sent to the wing. A shot by Riley. Oh, he had the empty net. And I don't know if Tarasov got over there or it went off the crossbar. But Morgan Riley came very close to making it a 3-goal lead.
Tarasov was on the left side of the net, and the shot from the point hit something in front, went back out the other way. And Morgan Riley found it on his stick. And Tarasov picked up on it at the last moment. But I don't know if he does get a piece of this or if Riley does. Even on the replay, you can't really get a good look at it. But
Morgan Riley.
It was gaping.
Yep. Another shot. Squandered it. Trickled underneath the goaltender, and he had to reach behind him.
By the way, Columbus, including this game tonight, they're plus minus in each of the first 2 periods. They're now plus 7 in the first period. Scored 7 more than they've given up. Plus 5 in the second period. In the third period, they are minus 27.
Well, 5 of that happened in one game period. Not so long ago.
But even minus 22 would be alarming if you forgave them for that one. And because of that, only once have they come back in the previous 13 times they've trailed. 1-11-1 when trailing after the second.
Domi unable to come up with it, and Gaudreau starts out of his own end, being chased there by the Leafs' Robertson. Gaudreau in with a shot that is into the glove, and an easy save for Martin Jones, who has faced 20 Columbus shots, given up the 1 goal that tied the game early in the second period. Matthews in the first to give the Leafs the lead. Marner with the assist. Then Tavares from Brody and Nylander at 2:58 of the second to restore the lead. And Matthews from Marner and Nylander on the power play to open up the 2-goal lead they enjoy now, 3-1. Tavares wins the draw. Nylander got it up for Brody. He circles back. Now works his way around the boards. Going to swing it out at center off of Bertuzzi. It comes to the line and in. Tavares into the forecheck. Won't be able to catch up to the defenseman, but Nylander is onto it as well as it's cleared now by Columbus back into the zone. Hammered around the boards by Jones, and the Leafs get it out at center ice.
I think Sheldon Keefe will take a boring, uneventful third period.
Werenski gets it ahead. Brought to the line and in by Chinakhov to the left wing side. Whipped in front of the net off the stick of Jones onto the stick of Bertuzzi. The Leaf winger comes down the left side and just gets it into Columbus territory. Now gets some assistance here from Marner, who comes on to the scene and steals the puck, played it back into the corner, and the Blue Jackets get it quickly out at center ice for Chinakhov, but he couldn't penetrate the Leaf zone. Then a long shot deflects wide of the Toronto goal. Kept in at the point, fed into the corner, broken up by Matthews. Trying to come out is Marchenko. Got it in front of the net. The Leafs chip it to the wing. Marner with a glance over his shoulder to see where he should go with this, and now backhands it himself out into neutral ice and down into Columbus territory. Nyes comes away with a loose puck momentarily, outfighting Provorov for it. Now Matthews is into pursuit of it, and it's around back of the net with the Blue Jackets trying to find some room to get out. Orange, or at least Provorov dropping it back. Now up ahead for Cole Sillinger. And the change is coming here for Columbus, so they're going to regroup the puck back in their own zone. 14:48 to go, 3-1 Toronto. Played high into the far corner in the Toronto zone. Chipped by McMahon into the near corner. Camp gets it back for him, and now McMahon one-on-one goes wide onto the forehand. Got the shot away, but it was Tarasov going down, and now we've got some pushing with Werenski and McMahon getting a punch to the side of the head. Gudbranson is in there as well. McMahon trying to maybe get after one or the other.
Now, this was Werenski that initiated it after the whistle. He's kind of been in a sour mood tonight, hasn't he? And then Gudbranson comes in. I like this from Gudbranson. He comes in and he grabs on to David Kemp. Gudbranson, of course, took matters into his own hands after he got hit from behind into the boards by Nick Cousins. Went after Cousins then. Cousins turtled and wouldn't fight. And then Gudbranson went back after him later in the game, and Cousins did the same thing. And, of course, Gudbranson is the one that paid the price for it on 3 occasions.
Well, Bobby McMahon is onto the bench. Nothing more to report after that little scrum. And the Domi line comes out for Toronto. And the draw won cleanly there by the Blue Jackets, but Domi is able to work to the far boards to keep it in. Now Gaudreau sends it back at the net for his defenseman. And Werenski will send it back, and Gaudreau tries to work through center. Good back checking there by Yarncrook to break up the rush at the Toronto blue line. Columbus trying it again in their own end. Werenski got it ahead at center. Backhanded high into the corner. Back of the net goes Brody. Swept around the boards to the line. Just chopped out at center ice, and Robertson couldn't get away. And it's back down into Columbus Blue Jacket. But the deal is to get it out. And the Leafs have done that so far. Fantilli brings it back into the Leaf zone. Tries to make a pass back into the slot, and a shot. And that went wide of the net. Best scoring chance they've had. Kept in at the point then by Juracek, but broken up by the Leafs and played back into Columbus territory. Blue Jackets backhanded high. Knocked down by the glove of the Leaf defender and played back out at center. Quickly brought back in again, though. And a shot swallowed up by goaltender Martin Jones as Cole Sillinger got the shot away. And then all of a sudden, Jake McCabe now looking at his hand for some reason.
Well, maybe skate blade or something came up. But a pretty good play by Fantilli to get over the line and then look back to the left point. And Columbus gets a scoring chance without a shot on goal.
You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Let's go, football fans. This week on Let's Go with Tom Brady and Larry Fitzgerald and me, Jim Gray. Christian McCaffrey.
In my mind, the MVP favorite, according to his quarterback, too, Brock Purdy.
That means a lot. I don't get into all the award stuff. Being in the conversation is an honor. If I had my vote, it'd be Brock as the MVP. He's been unbelievable.
Listen to Let's Go this Tuesday at 6 p.m. Eastern on Mad Dog Sports Radio and anytime on the Sirius XM app.
Let's go, baby. Let's go. The best player analysts and insiders live on NHL Network Radio. Mike Johnson.
5-on-5 defensive game for Tampa is getting to the point, Gord, where it is a concern. And it's not just because Vasilevsky hasn't played the entire season. They're giving up almost 4 goals a game. No matter how good your offense is, that's not going to be able to be sustainable.
Get the latest opinion and analysis you need on the home of hockey, NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app. The Power Play with Steve Koulias.
It's between the Ken Hitchcock dots. And the Sens are too loosey-goosey there. They talk the talk, but they don't walk the walk. Ottawa's not like that. And until that part really improves, I don't believe they'll be a playoff team. They'll wow you. They'll wow the fans. They'll win or lose 5-4. But right now, they're middling right now. They're a middling hockey club.
The Power Play. Weekdays 3 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app. The biggest names in the game.
Trying to get behind, wrist the line, and walks in, put it between his legs, shoots it, score!
NHL play-by-play on Sirius XM
Radio Network.
Columbus Blue Jackets Public Relations Department announcing that Sean Corrali suffered an abdominal injury, and the injury does not appear to be serious at this time, but he's been taken to the Grant Medical Center for further evaluation. So there was a bit of a scary moment if you joined us late, just at the close of the first period. But good news that
it was scary the way he left.
Yes, it was. As the Blue Jackets go back into their own zone, Matthews on the hound again, trying to come up with a loose puck, and it is pushed ahead and now brought out by Columbus. They'll get to the red line and pump it down into the Toronto zone. Trying to play it back was Voronkov. He gets it back to the point. Cross ice to the D on the far side. Werenski down low now for Marchenko, trying to come out with it, and the Leafs intercept. Nifty little move made there by Nylander, and he gets it, or by Marner rather, and he gets it to the wing and played down into the Columbus zone. Werenski turns there. Up on the right side for Bemstrom. Got down and over the line. Too well covered. Liljegren will punch it off the boards, but not clear. Into the corner it goes. A centering pass. And Bemstrom couldn't make contact. Then a shot is kicked away nicely by Jones. And the Leafs, McMahon skates it out at center. Kick the puck up to his stick to get it into the slot area. And a backhand attempt by Noah Gregor went wide of the net, and a penalty.
Holding the stick is going to be the call.
And it looks like it might be going to the Blue Jackets.
Juracek might be the one going off. And the Leafs will go to their, second power play of the night?
Yes, it is.
Auston Matthews scored in the first one, and only one that they've had so far. But a great chance here with 12:13 to go in the third period for the Leafs to get a bit of a stranglehold. No, it's Noel Gregor is getting the penalty. It's Columbus.
Okay.
They showed Juracek on the screen and McMahon, but watching the replay, it's Noah Gregor.
So it is the third power play for Columbus. And the Leafs win the draw, and McCabe hammers it off the glass, and down the ice it goes. Good play there by Marner to almost steal the puck, but it is quickly brought ahead at center ice by Marchenko. In across the line for the Blue Jackets. Stolen by Marner and lifted out and down the ice. They made a drop pass, and Marner was late getting back into the defensive zone, and the drop pass was right to him.
If that's earlier in the power play, he's turning that back.
He's gone, that's right. Played out at center ice again by the Maple Leafs. 1:22 in the man advantage here for Columbus. 3-1 the score. The Leafs with the lead. Werenski dropping it back in his own zone, and Gaudreau will start out. Johnny Gaudreau, the former Flame, gets in over the line. Stops up and works to the left wing side. Gets it back to the point to Werenski. Over on the near side for Voronkov. Voronkov, back it goes to Werenski. Left wing side again, and a shot. And that was deflected wide, and it's going to carry him all the way out and down the ice. That go off the goalpost?
Yeah. Might have hurt a little iron there in behind Martin Jones.
Werenski dropping it back. Here the Blue Jackets again cycling in the neutral zone. They get to the line and in. Johnson works down into the corner. Puck is stolen. The Leafs are going to take a bit of an odd man rush, and then just Marner flipping it down on goaltender Daniel Tarasov. Marner out there hounding the attack in the neutral zone. Got a stick on it, but it's brought in over the line by Justin Danforth. Down into the corner with 14 seconds left in the penalty. Punched back out at center ice by the Leaf penalty kill that's been excellent here thus far this evening. Marner again with it, onto the forehand, out and down the ice, and that will do it. 3 for 3 in the penalty kill for the Maple Leafs. I detect some booing there by the Columbus Blue Jacket fans. At any rate, they bring it back in over the line. Sillinger trying to get it into the corner. Wraparound attempt was thwarted there by Max Domi, and now we get another whistle.
And I don't know, again, which player is going to be penalized.
Nope, it's Sillinger's been high.
That could be 4.
Got a high stick.
And they're showing Max Domi. Might be the one, but this could be 4. It did look like Sillinger was cut, or at least trying to sell that he was cut. We're watching.
Oh, wow.
Boy,
Domi lost his
Domi
stick.
didn't even have his stick.
Didn't have his stick.
But you have to be in control of it. That's the rule, and we'll see what the call is when we come back.
You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590, The Fan, and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Move up to Heathwood. Hi, I'm Hugh Herron. Experience true luxury at Williamsburg Green in Kitchener. Heathwood's all-brick homes are built with upgraded features and elevated finishes. Chef-inspired kitchens, spa-light en-suites, and a fully finished lower level. Even better, Williamsburg Green has parks, playgrounds, and trails to explore. It's time to move up to Heathwood. Learn more at heathwood.com.
Unhibernate, a verb. To laugh in the face of snow because you drive a Subaru. As in, when I unhibernate, I have the roads all to myself because my Subaru has symmetrical full-time all-wheel drive and others don't. Or, the award-winning safety in my Subaru means I can unhibernate all winter while my neighbors stare longingly from their bedroom windows. Or my favorite usage, I am going to unhibernate this winter by visiting my local Subaru dealer today. Welcome to Uncommon Winter Confidence.
From the biggest stadiums to the coziest holes in the wall. From house parties to porch hangs to pride celebrations. From your favorite fuzz shop to your local Indian spot. From noodle bars to sports bars to salsa bars. There's a Molson with your name on it. Canadian Ultra XL. Molson. Everyone in. Must be legal drinking age.
You're listening to Toronto Maple Leafs hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Leafs Radio Network.
Max Domi gets the penalty for high sticking. Well, actually, his stick gets the penalty for high sticking. He actually didn't have it under control when it came up and clipped Sillinger. So, again, Blue Jackets with a chance here to narrow the gap. Get it back to the point. They work it along on the boards. Now dished back by Marchenko to the left wing side. We've got the down low camera angle back of the Toronto goal, and tough to see some numbers here, but it is played out at center ice now by Mitch Marner and down into Columbus territory.
Do you think that maybe you should just take Domi's stick and put it in the penalty box?
Yeah, and then, Max could use another stick if they needed him to kill his own penalty or kill his stick's penalty. Played in over the line now for Voronkov. Shot hit the side of the goal, stopped then by Martin. It comes back to the point. Werenski with it again. Off on the left wing side and a shot. Good save. The rebound was trickling off of Jones into the blue paint. And the Leafs got there to clear it away from harm's way. Good play by Benoit. Werenski starts back up ice. Half the penalty in the books. Brought through center now by Gaudreau. Off the stick, cleared off the boards. Matthews chips at it and swats at it. And down the ice it rolls into Columbus territory. Chinnikov goes back for it. He's going to drop it off again for Werenski. The veteran starts around the Columbus goal. Drops it back even further. Now Gaudreau losing it, then grabbed there by Fantilli and shot into the zone. Fantilli on the forecheck along with Kent Johnson, but it's stolen by the Maple Leafs. Here's Nylander in over the line with Brody. Nylander shoots, scores! Willie Nylander with his second shorthanded goal. And sorry, TJ, couldn't use you on this one.
Nylander does the right thing, even though T.J. Brody, with the Leafs shorthanded, jumps into the rush, which is a 2-on-1 break for the Leafs. And coming not long after, Simon Benoit swept one out of the blue paint. And I mean, Nylander jumps on this deep in the Leafs zone. Looks up, sees a defenseman caught, and away they go. Provorov, the only defenseman back for the Blue Jackets, but Nylander's got it on his forehand. And Brody going to the net. Provorov tried to take away the pass, but left the shot to the lethal Willie Nylander, who makes it 4-1. And as you mentioned, shorthanded goal number 2 on the year for Willie.
So how do you anticipate the change in the lines when they move Marner back with Matthews and Nylander with Tavares? Willie's got 3 points, and now a breakaway for Max Domi out of the penalty box, and a good save made there by Tarasov. Nylander with 3 points. Marner with 2 points, setting up Matthews for both of his goals.
Matthews with 2, Tavares with a goal.
Yep. So the big four have got their stamp all over the score sheet. Played to the line and in. Werenski driving the net, got a shot away. Jones is down, and he has swallowed that up and held it for a face-off in the Toronto zone. Max Domi burst out of the penalty box and then got a breakaway pass. The puck rolled on him, though, just as he was getting close to having to make the decision to either shoot or deke. And the shot was deflected by Tarasov wide of the net.
I mentioned the stats for the top 4 for the Maple Leafs. Right now, I think the most impressive or most important in this game is 1 goal against.
Into the corner it goes. Juracek centered. Good positioning there by Bertuzzi to intercept a centering pass. He'll carry it to the line and get it in. Centering pass for Tavares, and he tried to knock that out of the air and behind the goaltender, but it went wide of the net. Back to the point, kept in at the blue line there by the Maple Leafs. Down into the corner and back of the goal. Tavares jamming at it. Down is Tarasov and is able to get a glove on top of it as Tavares was jamming away at it after bringing it out from behind the net. 6:50 left to play in the period. The Maple Leafs with a 4-1 lead now would like to just nurse this one home, put a nice big Christmas ribbon on it, and come home for a few days to relax with family and friends to enjoy the Christmas season. And they have responded to the mess in Buffalo the other night.
And even for Willie Nylander, Joe, you mentioned the point streak's now at 11, but only his 4th goal in the last 14 games. And what have we got here?
I think just went out of play. They're sending it back into the Columbus zone.
Yeah, so obviously the point streak has been there, but the goal scoring has dipped since the start of the year. So only the 4th goal for Nylander in his last 14 games. You mentioned John Tavares. Only his 3rd in the last 15 games. Obviously, there are guys that can contribute in other ways other than just putting the puck into the net, but certainly helps when they do, especially when the big 4 get in on it in the same game.
Blue Jackets have allowed 4 goals again. 8 of the last 12 games they've done that. 6:42 left to play in the 3rd period. Draw one by Columbus. They'll break it out at center and flip it deep into the Toronto zone. Around back of the net. Unable to center it was Voronkov, and now the Leafs are going to get it airmailed out at center ice. Mitch Marner tried to jump and head it like a soccer player to get it out of the zone.
We've seen him do that before.
You know, his hockey sense and his creativity is something that is beyond. And, of course, we've heard about Connor Bedard today using the Michigan to score a goal for the Chicago Blackhawks. But, I mean, that was just a clever little play. I could have headed out like someone from Manchester United.
Yeah, we've seen Marner, I think, attempt that before.
Mm-hmm. Played out and down the ice by the Maple Leafs. No icing, though. Tarasov leaves for his defense. Ow! Backhand pass, I think, went right off the referee's helmet. Played out into the center ice area, backhanded down into the Toronto end.
Maybe you saw Marner do it and thought, I'll give it a shot.
Hey, try this. I saw one of the guys in the white uniform try it. Played down. Or maybe we should have had a few more opportunities with the power play, so take that. Back into the Columbus zone goes Ivan Provorov around back of the net. Our time elapsing here with 4-1 the score. The Leafs with the lead. Benoit gives a good hit. 5 minutes and 25 seconds left to play in the 3rd period. Max Domi getting it down into the Columbus zone. Around back of the net goes Zach Werenski. The Leafs are able to pry it free. Robertson unable to get by one check, but now Marner sends it in front, or at least Domi sent it in front, and a good opportunity for Yarncrook didn't work. Now Yarncrook pretty much tackled one of the Blue Jackets, but no call.
Boy, what a slick pass by Max Domi. Picks up the loose puck in behind the net and just in one motion throws it out front to Yarncrook.
Launch back down into the Toronto zone. Up against the boards. Punched along the wall by Lagesson. The Leafs are able to get it ahead, and Yarncrook will skate it to center. He'll get to the line. He's surrounded there. Just plays it in deep. Tries to get around the forecheck, but was interfered with, I believe. And I think a penalty is coming here. And it may be Danforth who's going to the penalty box. And he and Yarncrook are having a bit of a discussion as the Leafs are going to go to their second power play opportunity of the game. So it is a 4-1 Toronto lead. Willie Nylander from Matthews and McCabe, the last scoring play, and the Leafs go to the power play. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Turn up the joy this holiday season with SiriusXM Jolly Christmas. A channel stuffed with a sleigh load of nothing but upbeat, Merry Christmas, feel good, and this Christmas, holiday favorites.
Let it snow, let it snow, let it snow.
For maximum merry, unwrapped Jolly Christmas. Now on Channel 105 and anytime in the SiriusXM app. Free with all trials and popular plans.
24/7 hockey talk.
One of the greatest goaltenders of all time. Patrick Waugh, when you put your hands up, did you know at that moment that you were done?
No, I did not. Unfortunately, it happened. Just gave me a chance to have a fresh start somewhere else and be traded to Colorado was a good opportunity. Sometimes you need that little, change, and it was welcome for me.
SiriusXM NHL Network Radio. SiriusXM 91. And on your schedule with the SiriusXM app. The Point with Boomer Gordon.
18 months ago, I had New Flyers head coach John Tortorella. And I asked him what he was worried about the club, and he said, I don't like the room. We have a bad room. And I'm like, you haven't even coached this team yet. A year and a half later, John Tortorella loves his room. He loves this team, and he loves that they compete every night.
Point with Boomer Gordon. 1 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91, and the SiriusXM app. Hockey lives here.
Suzuki sweeps it. There's a chance. Rebound. Caulfield shoots and scores.
NHL play-by-play on SiriusXM Radio Network.
Going to go out on a limb here. Willie Nylander gets his second shorthanded goal of the season. Auston Matthews picked up an assist. I'm going to suggest that may be Auston Matthews' first shorthanded point of his career.
I put the text in over to Armin.
All right. See if we can't find it. Here's the Leafs on the power play. It goes around the boards to the near side, cleared ahead, and now brought out at center ice and brought into the blue line area. But the Leafs counter and bring it right back in again. Marner against the boards, has it bounce out at center. Nylander has to get back, and looked like he was hooked there, but no penalty to send it to a two-man advantage. And now Matthews comes through center. In on the left wing for Tavares. Tavares chipping it back along the boards. Has it under control. Back to the point it goes. Far side. Nylander with a shot. That's deflecting and going around the boards and out at center ice. 3:42 left in the third period. The Leafs can nurse this for another minute 5 if they like. And cut that right down to a manageable amount of time with a 4-1 lead. Marner to the line and in. Works on the left wing for Tavares. Tavares bodied there by Marchenko. Marchenko gets it out. Marchenko in across the line. Right wing side, a shot. And Jones looking for that after it went off him and up into the screen.
Sheldon Keefe going with two defensemen there as Jake McCabe was out with Morgan Riley. But right as Marchenko was about to let it go, Morgan Riley lifts the stick. By the way, Armin confirms it is, in fact, the first ever shorthanded point.
I told you that already.
Name the games that he did not get a shorthanded point.
All right? The rest of them.
Next question.
Next question. That's right. Leafs on the power play.
If there wasn't analytics, there would be now. When there.
Oh, yeah. We'd be really good at analytics, yeah. What game was it? Well, the other ones. Oh, here's Domi centering it front. Oh, good save made there by Tarasov off of Yarncrook. Set up in front of the net by Domi. Far side now for the Leafs. McCabe chipping it along the boards. Domi in there as well. It comes back on the wing and pushed out at center ice, and it'll force Bertuzzi back to his own blue line as the penalty will expire before the Leafs get it back into the zone under control. Far side now for Gudbranson. Got it out at center, out of the penalty box, and hustling after it was Danforth, but he put himself offside. And play whistle dead with 2:27 left to go here in the third period. And to all of our listeners and all of the Leaf fans, a very, very safe and happy and Merry Christmas to you all, and to you and your family, Mr. Ralph. I hope that you are well stuffed by the time we get back to action again next Wednesday.
Back to our nieces, Sarah in Oshawa.
Nice. Yeah, I got the Bowen clan arriving at my house on Christmas afternoon for which sounds like quite a feed that we may have to invite the rest of the armed forces to come join us.
Well, I'm just glad we're invited back. Last year we were told to bring something. I brought Tupperware.
Smart move.
No.
Played by the Blue Jackets around the boards. It'll come to the point. Minute 48 to go in the third period. Back of the net for Benoit. Chipped up on the boards. McMahon couldn't get it. It comes back to the point. Shot there by Severson is directed wide of the net by goaltender Martin Jones, who has given the Leafs a workman-like performance. Not spectacular, but just steady. And he has faced 28 Columbus shots and allowed just one goal.
And not spectacular because the Leafs shut things down in front of them.
Well, not in the first period. 14 shots apiece.
Yeah, but we're nothing close to the breakaways and odd man rushes we saw in Buffalo in that nightmare a couple of nights ago.
Here the Blue Jackets trying to work it in on the left wing and do. Minute left to go in the third period. A lot of Leaf fans make the trip to Columbus, either Southern Ontario. Now a chip there by Nyes didn't get to Marner, who was driving the net. It's not a bad drive, and it's a great spot to go and see a hockey game. And a wonderful Italian restaurant right near the rink as the pass goes on the left wing side, and that's deflected wide. They actually have a Pope's room with a...
I'm trying to... We always forget the name of it.
I can't, yes, but there is a enclosed head...
Enclosed head.
Not a real head, but I'm thinking...
Case of glass.
Yes, but of one of the popes, and I always thought that was quite unique.
Even being a Protestant.
No.
Made you say, look at that.
Look at that. Now, there's something you don't see every day. Final seconds ticking down.
I don't know who we got on our side, but I know we're seated in a glass box on the table, but a nice way for the Leafs to end the break start the break, heading into the Christmas time off before playing the Ottawa Senators back on December 27th. And important because in this month, the Leafs had given up the fourth most goals per game in December. Only Detroit, Columbus, and the San Jose Sharks had given up more. And that includes the Leafs having 2 shutouts in the month of December as well, which is bizarre. But really nice. Like you said, Martin Jones, workmanlike. This wasn't a game that he had to steal for him. Let him see it, clear some rebounds. Benoit had a huge clear, a rebound in the third period, and just let him go about his business without asking him to stop 6 2-on-1s and 2 or 3 breakaways, although Columbus did score on a breakaway in the second period.
And not give up a soft goal. And that was...
That's what I mean. Like, this, don't make his job more difficult. Just allow him to do his work and help him out. Martin Jones, like most of his starts this year, was able to do that.
Time now for the Molson 3 Stars. And who have you got, Mr. Ralph?
Well,
go through the scorebook there and come up with three names if you like.
Yeah, a bit of a tough one, but we'll go with Auston Matthews as the first star. 2 goals, 3 points on the night, extends the goal streak. Willie Nylander will go star number 2 with a goal and 3 points. A huge shorthanded goal for Willie Nylander. And I'm going to let you finish it out. We got Mitch Marner's
I'm going to go with Martin Jones. And I'm going to say Martin Jones.
Okay.
And the reason being, there was some pressure on him today. This was, we need some goaltending here. We're not getting it from Ilya Samsonov. We need you to be steady. And he responded with that as he stops 27 of 28 Columbus shots.
Yeah, honorable mention then, John Tavares scoring a big goal in the second period. Mitch Marner picking up a couple of assists.
All right. Eilish Forfar and Justin Cuthbert will get our post-game coverage going. Have a very, very Merry Christmas, everyone. We'll see you on the flip side on Wednesday when the Leafs will entertain the Ottawa Senators. You've been listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
You've been listening to Molson Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Leafs Radio Network. There's a Molson with your name on it.
The Dodgers get Shohei Ohtani.
When the sports world is talking, nobody gives you more perspectives than the experts of SiriusXM.
10 years, $700 million. That's insane.
Hear instant reaction on Mad Dog Sports Radio.
Shohei Ohtani is Babe Ruth, only better.
Expert analysis on MLB Network Radio.
I'm not sure that all of the contracts that I ever negotiated even total $700 million.
Where the players join the discussion.
Will Smith, Dodgers catcher.
He's the best player in baseball.
Live sports talk when you need it on SiriusXM and the SiriusXM app. The best player analysts and insiders live on NHL Network Radio. Mike Johnson.
5-on-5 defensive game for Tampa is getting to the point, Gord, where it is a concern. And it's not just because Vasilevsky hasn't played the entire season. They're giving up almost 4 goals a game. No matter how good your offense is, that's not going to be able to be sustainable.
Get the latest opinion and analysis you need on the home of hockey, NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91, and the SiriusXM app. The Power Play with Steve Koulias.
It's between the Ken Hitchcock dots. And the Sens are too loosey-goosey there. They talk the talk, but they don't walk the walk. Ottawa's not like that. And until that part really improves, I don't believe they'll be a playoff team. They'll wow you. They'll wow the fans. They'll win or lose 5-4. But right now, they're middling right now. They're a middling hockey club.
The Power Play. Weekdays 3 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91, and the SiriusXM app. 24/7 hockey talk.
One of the greatest goaltenders of all time. Patrick Waugh, when you put your hands up, did you know at that moment that you were done?
No, I did not. Unfortunately, it happened. Just gave me a chance to have a fresh start somewhere else and be traded to Colorado was a good opportunity. Sometimes you need that little, change, and it was welcome for me.
SiriusXM, NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91, and on your schedule with the SiriusXM app. The Point with Boomer Gordon.
18 months ago, I had new Flyers head coach John Tortorella. And I asked him what he was worried about the club, and he said, I don't like the room. We have a bad room. And I'm like, you haven't even coached this team yet. A year and a half later, John Tortorella loves his room. He loves this team, and he loves that they compete every night.
Point with Boomer Gordon. 1 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91, and the SiriusXM app.
If you're a soccer fan, you know that this music means one thing. The Champions League is on SiriusXM FC.
Hat-trick for Erling Haaland. Kane scores!
The top teams from around Europe are battling for club soccer's holy grail.
Real Madrid do what they do best. What a start for Inter!
Hear all the top Champions League matches all tournament long on SiriusXM FC 157 and streaming on the SiriusXM app.
The best hockey lives here.
Marks gets it back. Stick handles to the backhand. Moves in front. Score!
NHL play-by-play on SiriusXM.
Radio Network. That's a nice holiday gift to go into a couple days off for the Toronto Maple Leafs. A big win against Columbus and a few days to put their feet up and open presents and stockings and stuff.
That's exactly how it's supposed to look. You look ahead, you got a little break, but you got to take care of business beforehand. If you're the better team, you're playing an inferior team, you think, or fancy yourself, as an elite team.
Professional win,
exactly
Justin.
how it is supposed to look. Let's see a couple more of those over the next little while.
December's been a good month for Auston Matthews, 14 goals so far this month, and William Nylander, after 3 points tonight, is on a 119-point pace. So it's a couple good things to, have a nice little time on your next couple days. They'll both on the nice list.
120 points dancing in their heads.
There you go. Before we send it to Leafs Talk, let's take a look at the NHL scoreboard presented by Bet365. Visit the app for the latest odds and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 19 plus, Ontario only. Play responsibly.
4 games have reached conclusion. 3-2, the Stars beat the Predators. 4-2, the Panthers beat the Golden Knights. Those were this afternoon. The Devils have a 3-2 victory over the Detroit Red Wings, and the Wild got a 3-2 victory over the Bruins, so a 4-point swing tonight for the Toronto Maple Leafs. It's 1-1 going into a shootout between the Lightning and Capitals. 4-4 end of regulation, Penguins and Senators. The Sabres and Rangers are 3-3 with about 12 minutes left in the third period. It's 5-3 Islanders leading the Hurricanes. Blackhawks have doubled up on the Blues so far. It's 4-2. The Kraken hold a 2-1 lead over the Ducks. The Avalanche have a 1-0 lead over the Coyotes. And later on tonight, the Kings will host the Flames and the Canucks will host the Sharks.
All right. Well, we'll wish everybody a very Merry Christmas and a holiday break here. We'll be back on the 29th. So we won't wish you a Happy New Year yet, because we will be back in this year.
For that.
We will be. And we'll do a little reflection on the year that was. But we'll send it to Leafs Talk with JD Bunkus and Sam McKee next. Thanks for listening to Molson Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590, the Fan of the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Leafs Talk. JD Bunkus, Sam McKee from the bunker boy. You're just there. You did it from the bunker last year, and now you're back in the bunker.
It's Christmas time, buddy. I'm on tour.
Where is? Well, I know you do the big time tour, but where is this? Tour. Where's this stop?
I am in I think it's Manverse on
Touch. The wreath is new in the bunker.
I will tell you, if we took down this drape or whatever it is, all you would see would be legitimate. It would just be, I don't know, oil cans, and I don't know what else.
I got to tell
There's 3 dogs upstairs. Can you hear the dogs going crazy? It's just full on Christmas up there.
Can't hear the dogs, but will say that thank goodness for the wreath, because if it wasn't there, it would seem like you were about to start making demands. I would expect you would have the list ready, and nobody wants to see the video pan out. That's the way that video is going to go.
I'm Heath Ledger in the first Batman.
Yes,
the Joker.
Exactly. Location unknown. Yeah, you do not want to know. All right, Leafs head into the holidays with a win. I got to say, it's a pretty easy game to summarize for me. I don't think that the Leafs really came out with some kind of nasty response after getting embarrassed 9-3. I think that Matthews played his ass off tonight. And I think that the difference in this game was that the Leafs have superstar players that made some superstar plays, and the Columbus Blue Jackets failed to capitalize on the chances they had because they don't have those superstar players.
I actually, I come out of it feeling pretty similar to that, obviously. But, I think the Blue Jackets, for as much as, we make fun of them and how bad they were in parts of the game tonight, I do think they have a bit of a future here with some of those young guys that they have on their team. They can score. And I thought in that first period, for the first 15 minutes or so of the first period, they really did a good job of getting shots on net. And I thought Martin Jones did a really nice job for them. I was impressed with him tonight. So, unbelievable Matthews here. So what's he up to? 28 goals in 31 games, right? They're flashing up the stats on Sportsnet tonight. Are we having real 50 and 50 conversations here now? Is this a real possibility?
50 and 50 I haven't really talked about, but I do think that he's going to break 60, which is his career high, and I think that he's going to I think that the hunt for 65, the OV number, is very real. And like I was mentioning, I think I already mentioned this on Leafs Talk even, but I did it on my pod for sure, is now he is, after tonight, slightly ahead of Ovechkin's goal pace throughout his career, right? Yeah, we talked about this. And
for sure.
I do think that if he was able to hit 65 this year, 66, right, past the OV career high, it would start the conversation of, well, what's the realistic expectation for this guy's career?
Yeah. And I think the expectation for his career, I don't really know where to go with that, but I actually am kind of focusing on 50 and 50.
Yeah.
Like it really does feel like it's possible now because he had that stretch over. Was it his 60 goal season before when everyone who wasn't a Toronto guy got bent out of shape because he scored 51 and 50, but it wasn't like at the start of the year. Remember that where he got really hot and it was like, and everyone got all sour because it wasn't like at the start of the year, and it was people would be like, it doesn't actually matter. It doesn't.
Well,
it's like, it's
I agree with those psychos in a way. Like
I agree. I do too. I do. I 100% do. But
I do know what you're talking about because I remember I was part of those people being like, this is such a only Leafs fans would ever do. Like, well, technically he got 50 and 50. Like if that happened to like a Columbus Blue Jacket per se, we would never even hear about it, even if it was somebody great.
So I actually do think that this conversation could start here now because he's 3 goals behind the pace of scoring, a goal in every single game he's played. And he scores in bunches. He could have had 2 more tonight and he scored 2. Like all it takes is for him to get 1 4-goal game or 1 3-goal game here. And he's right on pace. And it's like, that's a crazy thing to say about a guy in the NHL, but like, it's very obvious he's able to do it. Like I am officially starting the watch tonight. Okay. Is that fair? Are you going to make fun of me for doing that? But I'm not officially starting 50 and 50 watch.
I'm not making fun of you. I think I'll say that for me, I'll be the sour Sammy. Or it doesn't work if I'm sour Sammy when your name is Sam. I'll be the sour Sal. I don't know.
Sour Susie.
Whatever. I think it's way too early. I think it's too early because you just said it. He still needs a 3-goal night to get on pace. Right?
Yeah.
And like, how are we doing this also? Because it does start the season. Do you have to play all the games? Because he missed that one, right? That broke the point streak. So it's like, is it the Leafs' first 50 games that he has to hit it in? Or is it just his first 50 games of the season that he has to hit it in?
No, I think it's just his. That's a great point, but I think it's just his first 50 games, right?
Okay. So then let's just say it's his first 50 games. He still has to have a hat trick just to be technically on the pace, right? And then he's got to go the...
Yeah, go ahead. I was just gonna say he's playing the Sens on Wednesday, which is his favorite team to score against. I think he has 20, like easily could get a hattie on Wednesday, and we're right back into my watch.
Sure.
This is why it's a watch. He scores 2 goals every single game.
Yes, and that's what I was gonna say is that if he keeps doing this for another, let's put it this way. For me, if they come out of this, that January 2-3, that's when I come back to Leafs talk after that stretch. Okay, so if I come back for the Saturday Leafs talk, and he is a goal or 2 below the pace, that's 5 more games. I think you can start the watch. But even still, it's a multi-goal games all the time. He's doing it. He looks great. He looks healthy. He's snapping around. I think that the conversation though off this is that he gets put back with Mitch tonight, and I'll admit it. I was annoyed. Like when the game,
how could you not be?
All right, okay. Thank you for agreeing because I just read. My eyes when they stepped out on the ice and then Craig Simpson started talking about them back together. Like my eyes rolled back into my skull and I was like, "Are we doing this?" And did you see the Sheldon clip before the game?
I was offline. What did he say?
Okay.
I was offline all day. So
I wrote it down because I'm not even going to misquote him because, sometimes we paraphrase and then some of the crybabies in the chat are like, that's not the spirit of what he said or that's not what he said.
Yeah.
I'm going to nail it. Okay. Quote. Not a huge contributor to those goals. End quote. Of Keefe on Nylander with Matthews' recent goal scoring streak.
But how long of a point streak does what's his name? Does Nylander have? Doesn't he have like a?
But
like how many points does he got?
I just thought that it was
a weird
pretty bold quote from Sheldon Keefe, and he's lucky that it's right before the holidays where the media couldn't run with this. Like we're going to be the only show that talks about.
Buddy, he could have said anything today.
Yeah,
and your boy was missing it.
But that's what I'm saying. Everybody missed it. But before the game, when he was asked about splitting them up, he said that he didn't think Nylander was a meaningful contributor on the goal scoring that Matthews has had recently, and he put him back with Marner after that game. And I just thought, boy, that is a red hot quote. That if that gets dropped on a Monday, that's leading every single show on Tuesday. And everybody's tearing him apart at the seams for having that quote one way or the other. But Sheldon Keefe had to be feeling great because I got to tell you, man, the first goal of the game, let's roll this sucker, sis. It's a great job by Matthews creating space and like finding a shooting lane. But I just love it's like a bad turnover by Columbus, right? Like it's really not pretty. But just beautiful patience by Mitch, who knows that Domi was going off on a change and just waited it out, didn't try to shovel something towards the net, like doesn't try to feed it into the slot and make some tough play. It just knows that, hey, the best goal scorer on the planet is on my team. I'm going to wait for him to get into his position. Don't worry. I know I'll be able to make this pass. And he makes that pass look like, just like the easiest thing in the entire universe, puts it right on the tape. Beautiful pass. So good play by Mitch.
Yeah, and I think it's pretty predictable. Like these two guys get together in their first couple games, they're just like, "Oh my God, we're so excited to be back together!" And they just like get horned up right away, and they look unbelievable. It happens every time.
Yeah,
it happens every time these guys get reunited after their little like sabbaticals, after their little wax, where they're like, "Oh, we're splitting you up," and Keith's like, "It's time to roll those dice, baby. It's the dice move time." And he flips those wingers, and those boys see the lineup, and they're like, "Yes, let's go!" And they get so excited about it. And they looked. I thought it was Marner's best game in a really long time tonight. He just looked energized. Both in all zones. Like I thought Matthews' defensive work tonight was unbelievable, as well as his offensive work. And same with Marner. Marner was really good on the penalty kill, I thought, tonight. Really good defensively. It's just, it inspires these guys. The first couple games they get back together, they are really, really dynamic. And you just wish it would be like that all the time. But like the longer it goes, when they play together, they get a little bit more aloof, and you have to do this again and flip it around. So I guess that's just what it is. Like, and I guess that's just the world we're going to have to live in, where once in a while, those wingers are going to get flipped, and that's just the way it goes. Like, I guess that's just how we have to live.
You want to talk about the way it works is if you can get the Marner from last year and the Matthews from this, then your 50-50 watch is totally on. Because that was the Marner, that was the Marner from last year. It actually, I got to say, I was a little almost annoyed that the rest of the Leafs didn't play with that same kind of energy. Because Matthews said that Buffalo game was one of the most embarrassing that he's been a part of. And then he came out and he and Marner had real jump. Like they got reunited and they were awesome together all night. Attention to detail, tough on the puck, just everything all night long. And I just thought the rest of the Leafs were pretty passive against Columbus. Like I agree with you that Jackets team has a real jump to them. Like there's energy that they play with, right? And I think that they were probably fast. But they're just like they're like a bit of a gritty team, right? Like they've got some guys. They've got some guys that excite you and that are pretty quick. And you saw them catch the Leafs off guard. That Dundas kid, right? It's Dundas. He's got some Toronto sports.
Danforth.
Danforth. That's
Danforth.
It. It's Dundas. Yeah, I was like, he's got Toronto.
Ossington?
Yeah, Ossington. Yeah, I was like, he's some kind of Toronto name. He caught him a couple of times in this game. Like he caught him flat-footed. He can move. Like I was like, I was impressed by him. So part of it is the tenacity of Columbus, and I want to give them credit for that. But I didn't think that for the most part, the rest of the Leafs lineup was really finding a way to match that intensity. Those guys were thinking like, I don't care we lost to the Sabres this way. We're going into the holidays, and we are just holiday Christmas, checked out. Yeah, like our stars sniped some goals, and we're going to take some bad penalties, some lazy penalties. We're not really going to skate too hard. We're not going to check too hard. I don't want to be in the hospital over Christmas. I want to be at my house.
2 fourth-line offensive zone penalties is not something the coach likes. Like that, such a lazy penalty by McMahon with the grab, lazy penalty, and then Gregor with the brutal one in the third period when it was still really when it was still a 2-goal game, right? You put him on the power play, and that's what I think that's maybe it was the Domi one that they ended up scoring the shorty on. But the one where he just grabs onto the stick, he's tired, he just makes a stupid choice, and they get him. Obviously, it was a clear penalty. It's like, what? You can't have your fourth line taking 2 separate offensive zone penalties. So yeah, I wanted to ask you, because I just mentioned that Domi thing before I forget. What's the rule on that? He was falling and the stick got knocked out of his hands. And as he was like, the stick was out of his hands, it hit the guy in the face. It's like, that's still a high stick. Like it's like not in your hands. You don't possess it.
I know, but I think you're supposed to, it's your stick. You're supposed to have control of your stick.
Yeah, it confused me. I was like, it's a weird one. You don't see that one very often. But he was like on the ice with his hands and knees on the ice, and his ghost stick is high sticking him, and he gets 2. He looked confused. Although he always looks confused with that big, stupid smile, no teeth. He never looks like a real road scholar out there, but he looked confused.
Yeah, no, I think you got to have control of your stick at all times. If it gets knocked out of your hands, if it's up in the air, then it's like, oh, it's your fault. You should have held on to it. Although it's weird because if you drop your stick and it trips somebody, it's not like a tripping penalty.
Yeah.
Like,
so I don't know.
so
it's a weird one, but yeah, I generally agree with your assessment though, that I thought, that goal that Tavares scores tonight, that's a really beautiful goal. But the big, like, Marner and Matthews carried them. I even thought Nyes on their own line was a little bit of a passenger. Like, it looked like he couldn't keep up with those guys.
No,
I thought he couldn't keep up.
I don't want to do this tonight because it's not really a thing, but yeah, like it's just like you see the young player in Nyes where it's like, it happens once in a while, like it happens once every 3 nights where you go, man, he's a bull. And then the next 2 nights you're like, where is he? And I just think that's growing pains. But Tavares' goal, do you think that's the nicest one of his career? We got the other one that we talked about, but do you think that's the nicest one just aesthetically? Because that was this is pretty nasty. So here's the spinorama.
Yeah, beautiful.
Interesting thing about tonight too, Leafs, I think 2 of their first 3 goals, Columbus had grade A chances, and then they immediately get turned, like this one for sure. Columbus had a big chance at the other end. They could have made it 2-1 Columbus. And instead it comes down the ice and it's Tavares who ends up sniping one. But yeah, this is all feel. And he knew it was sexy because he's not a big time celebrator, and he wanted a bigger celebration from the teammates from that one. He celebrated a goal that didn't go in the other night, and then he really kind of was it was a breakaway where it just misses the net, and then this comes and it's Tavares gains his own.
Focus on Johnny Gaudreau here. Just can you roll it one more time and just watch how much does he make a year? Watch the effort here.
Yeah.
Fire Poker City. Yeah. Like, get on the stick, man. Lift the stick. Have a stride. Oh, my God. Branson gets put into the spin cycle, which I appreciate.
Yeah.
But come on, Gaudreau. Like, it's like, have a little shame, buddy. You're making, what's he making, 10 mil?
Dude,
look at this. Imagine Willie did this.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. It's so bad. But yeah, it was a gorgeous goal. And it's not the nicest of his Leafs career. The nicest of his Leafs career was definitely against Philadelphia. Your boy was in the building. Also that night, Mark Giordano did the big time wrestling jump somebody. I don't even remember who it was that he jumped, but he jumped somebody. It was crazy, but that was an incredible game. And he walked Sanheim, I don't know if it was connecting. I forget who it was, but it was a crazy night. And the whole crowd was chanting Gio. And it was another night where I think Matthews smiled in a scrum. It was a bad,
that was, I think Mike Rupp took it for that one. He gave the
yes, it was. Rupper went wild with that.
Rupp went hot, and then Leafs Nation went nuts, and I was quietly like, I agree with Rupp.
100%.
I was with the uncles.
The next day, Kipper's like, we gotta get Rupper on. I'll track him down.
Hey, do we have that Philly goal, sis? Because I'd like to watch that one again.
I can remember him walking Sanheim.
No, we didn't.
No, we don't have it. But walking Sanheim along the right-hand boards, going to the front of the net, cutting it into the middle, tries to stuff it, and then it gets a rebound and shoots it up top. I was standing up in the very high section. I almost fell out of my seat. I had vertigo. I was so high up in the seats. Didn't really spend a ton of the tickets that night, but it was a great goal. Yeah, but he was, nice one for Tavares for sure.
Yeah. So all the stars get some. They all get their cookie against the Columbus Blue Jackets. And then I don't really think I have much else from this game because
I do.
Tavares, what else you got?
Well, I got to give a ton of credit to Martin Jones because, listen, everyone knows what this is. This is not a long-term solution. This is not a guy that's going to find it here. He's not going to be a guy that's Martin Jones at 34, 920 save percentage, leading this team into a deep playoff run. He's obviously not going to be that. We all understand that. But this is a really important time when they need goaltending. Their starting goaltender, legitimately, every time they flash over to him on the bench, I'm like, oh my God, is he okay? The look on his face, he looks dejected. And it's just this guy is a gritty old veteran that they're throwing in there, and he's giving them an honest effort. And this is how many wins does he have now for them? This is his 3rd win for them. It's third, because he finished the Ottawa game.
So I don't know if he gets the win for that, but
beats the Rangers, beats Pittsburgh with the shutout, and then beats Columbus. So it's 3.5 wins. But he was really solid tonight in the first period. I thought Columbus could have had 2 or 3 in the first period alone, and he was just a steadying presence. And listen, like I said, he's never going to be like a reclamation project where he finds it and leads you to a cup or anything. But just as far as like depth guys, veteran goalies coming in and just giving him a solid effort, I give him full credit, man. It's been a great little stretch here for him. They need him to keep going, obviously. Friedge was talking that they're shopping in the goaltender market in the second intermission there. I heard him talking about it in his in his Grady Dick jacket that he was wearing tonight. But yeah, I'm really, really happy for Jones. He's been good so far.
Yeah, absolutely has been. And I thought it was a bit of a stretch. The other night I saw on the panel they did what's Tree Living's best move, and Elliott did the extra $100K that they built into Jones's contract if anybody claimed him off waivers.
Yeah,
when they said
it was creative, but I think that's a bit of a stretch. But a creative move.
But it's a really good move, and I do think that it's one that we're going to point to later in the year. If the Leafs end up clinching the 1 seed, which again should be the goal, right? Did the Bruins lose tonight? Bruins were losing. They did.
They lost.
Nice.
I think they lost. Yep.
So it's definitely too early for 50 and 50. It's definitely too early for standings watch. But yeah, I really think it's crucial for the Leafs to win the Atlantic this year. Like that would be a real statement about who they are, and I think it would really change the mindset going into the playoffs. Like, don't you think they would just like imagine they have to go in the first round and they play Florida or Boston the first round again this year? Like it's just
they can beat the Bruins. They can't beat Florida. Florida will beat the Leafs. I'm telling you right now. The Leafs have a genuine fear of that team. And like you can talk about how it's like, oh, they got punched in the mouth last year, and they're gonna come like they're deep defensively.
Yeah,
they're gritty. They're the antithesis of what the Leafs are. They are not a good matchup for the Leafs.
Yeah, that's
truly, it's the worst matchup maybe in the league for the Leafs, the Florida Panthers.
Yeah.
So if you can avoid that matchup until like the second round, or God forbid the third round potentially,
just imagine
that would be very good.
And the Panthers had to play each other in the first round. How good do you feel about that? Like, just do that. Like, do that thing. That's why it's like take the regular season seriously.
That's what happened this year.
What?
That's what happened this past year, and it didn't go.
Yeah,
so
I
well,
guess.
So.
Yeah, it's true. That did happen.
That literally happened.
Yeah, imagine it happened. No, but it's the Panthers didn't have our respect then. We were casuals. We're not familiar with the Panthers game.
I said, "Give me the Cats meow."
Oh yeah,
and Brandeo still plays it on the show.
You and I were basically the guys that were down at Young and Dundas chanting without the tarps on. We couldn't have been more of those guys. I agree. I think Martin Jones has been great. I thought he was solid again tonight. Nothing insane, but just a quality start, which is what you need on most nights. But I did think that a large part of tonight was Columbus just not being able to finish, though. Like I will admit, like they had some grade A opportunities, and it was just miss after miss after miss, and then a couple of them bit them in the ass. Okay, we're off.
Hey, quick last thing I wanted to mention before we go. That Crowley thing was scary, eh?
Yeah,
at the start of the
now
we
live in DeMar Hamlin world.
Of course, that's what everyone thought immediately. That's what I thought immediately because he got hit right in the chest, and I was like, "Oh my god, no!" Like I really did have the feeling, but he's okay now. Apparently, went to the health center to get precautionary checkup, but I guess he's okay. But God, it's like that. That I was a little bit spooked there at the end of the first, and it was weird they had to come back. It's like, can we just run that 18? Like we had to come back and do the 18 seconds at the start. It was funny, but anyways, it's one of the.
It was weird. I'm glad he's all right, and it's funny to say this now because we know he's all right, but. I genuinely had this ref is praying more than anyone that he's all right, that didn't blow the play dead, and was just like letting him go. Because it's an innocuous play, and he's not really thinking about it. But in slow motion and after the fact, it looked like a crime, when he's like slouched down. And I went, boy.
How about old Nationwide getting Jerry, the paramedic from across the rink? Could you have him down by the rooms? Like, what is that? It's like, what you got to get he's like trying to slide across the ice.
I thought he was going to fall
come over and grab him.
He looked like he wasn't even. He looked like he was not aware that the teams played on ice, and that was even going to be like a possibility that he had to do that night. Like when he showed up, he was like, "This is hockey. This is the." Ice? Okay, I guess I got to get over there. Yeah, no, I'm glad he's all right, but DeMar Hamlin has totally changed the way that we view sports 100%. And the way we feel about it, and especially when they're like, call the period, and it's a guy slouching and falling down. That's scary stuff, man. Like, makes you think about Rich Peverly, makes you think about Mar Hamlin. Yeah. So I'm thrilled that he's all right. Yeah. We are off for the next 3 games, us 3.
Yeah.
Or Joel's already off.
Yeah. Yeah. So we're off for those 3 games against Ottawa Wednesday. And then it's Columbus again on Friday. And then Carolina on the Saturday.
Buddy,
and then
missing another Columbus game.
Oh my God. People don't even want to watch another Columbus game. Like, who would even watch our show?
I was going to say there's the third Columbus game, no, we should just take that off every year. Like, no matter what.
Why did they play Columbus 3 times?
I don't know. But yeah, and especially packed in this quick. It's like the week I come back, I'm doing 2 Sharks games in a row. It's great. Thanks for that schedule, gods. It's just 2 Sharks games. I'm back for Sharks. But we're off for 3. We're taking a break. We're taking a holiday break. Everybody's got to do their thing. We're sorry that we're not going to be doing this stuff. I think obviously if something crazy happens in Leafs land, we'll do some kind of emergency pod. So subscribe to the feed. This is a good time for the YouTube people that don't subscribe to the podcast. Subscribe to the podcast. Do that anyway. Leave 5 stars. That'd be a great Christmas gift to us. And then, Sammy will be back on Jan 2 and Jan 3, and then I'll be back with him on January 6th. And then same goes for the JD Bunkus podcast if you're a listener of that as well. Hey, also, thank you for watching these and listening to the show. All right? Like, man. I know we do it at the end of years, but I'm in the holiday spirit, and I just will say that I'm very touched as always. How many of you actually watch this thing? Less touched by how many of you hit the thumbs up. Again, it's like those of you that don't, it is what it is, I guess. But those of you that do, I appreciate you, and especially the ones who subscribe and watch the podcast. But I hope everybody has a Merry Christmas, a Happy Holidays, is nice and safe, and gets adds a couple LBs.
Oh, buddy, I'm terrified. Like, I'm already getting that winter weight, and I'm like, oh boy, had a big old lasagna tonight, ham tomorrow, heading up to the Sound for just a big old Marion Alton turkey carbo load. Just a disaster. I'm gaining 10 for sure. I'm gonna have to get on the bike when I get home.
Dude,
get on the Peloton.
I was crushing it, and I got sick the week before.
Oh boy,
Christmas.
That's a bad move because you gotta go the hardest that week. That's the hardest week.
That's what I'm saying. Is like now I'm going into Christmas like
fat,
full of Uber Eats, full of just soup and sleep and not moving, and that's not a good. I'm coming back. People are gonna recognize me on here. Like they're gonna be like, "Who's that guy?"
That guy could star in The Whale. Is that Brendan Fraser?
Yeah, it's not gonna be a pretty look. Anyways, we love all of you. Have a happy holidays, happy New Year, and we'll see you on the other side.
Hi, it's Catherine from Great Canadian Meat. Shopping stress? I get it.
What's up, Leafs fans? Another awesome night here on TSI. Thank you to each and every one of you for hanging out with us. Please don't forget to hit that like button as it helps bring more Leafs fans into the chat. The more the Toronto sports community and Maple Leafs community. Back to Leafs hockey. Go Leafs go. I'll see you guys in the chat. Peace.